TJ, yeah. Straight up, let's go. Welcome to Straight Up TJAY. Tap in, sit back, press replay. Been locked in with the Saints on a weekday. Now we talking every sport, every big play. Years on the grind, now we level up the view. From the dome to the world, get a better look at you. No script.
Hey, what's going on? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. Welcome to another edition of the Straight Up TJAY Podcast. And it is day number 2 of the 2026 NFL Draft. I'm sorry I'm late, ladies and gentlemen, but I was on the podcast, The Roar of the Lion, out in the United Kingdom. I was chopping it up with my guys, Matthew. Shouts out to Ash. Shouts out to the crew over there. And we were just kind of just breaking down the NFL Draft. So make sure that y'all subscribe to the Roar of the Lion UK. And kind of ran over, man, but I enjoyed chopping it up with those guys. But I love chopping it up with you all because it is the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft. As we see right now, Mason Thomas, the edge from Oklahoma, is going to the Kansas City Chiefs. And like I said, I apologize, but I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. Let everybody know what draft picks have been selected so far. We've seen Denzel Boston go to the Cleveland Browns. So Denzel Boston will be taking his services to Cleveland and be a part of that wide receiver room. All right. So that was a really good pick, in my opinion, by the Cleveland Browns. And the Saints are going to be on the clock very, very soon. So I pretty much rolled up on here. Right on time. We rolled up right on time, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, man, appreciate you all. It's very, very simple, very interactive podcast. For those that don't know, all you got to do is put your comments inside of the chat. We look forward to chopping it up with you and, hearing what you have to say. We know that the New Orleans Saints, with the 8th pick, they took Jordan Tyson on night number 1. And now we look to see what the New Orleans Saints are going to do at pick number 42. As we see, the Cincinnati Bengals pick is already in. We got Dezane Striblin. He is a wide receiver from Ole Miss. He was the first wide receiver taken and first player taken in the second round. We got Chase Basanis, who hurt me because, I would love to see him in a Saints uniform, but it won't be. He is from Texas A&M. He is the guard for Texas A&M. You got TJ Parker, the edge from Clemson. Then you got Caden McDonald, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Colton Hood, another guy that I was very high on. He's going to the New York Football Giants, cornerback out of Tennessee. Traden Stukes, safety out of Arizona. I know Keen Arthur is upset about that. He is going to the Raiders. Well, I mentioned Denzel Boston. He is going to the Cleveland Browns. You got R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma, the edge. And then you got Cassius Howell from Texas A&M, who the Bengals just selected. He is going to the Cincinnati Bengals. So that is your second round so far. I don't see anybody, trading, anything like that. So pretty much every team has made their selections from their spots. You got a couple teams like the 49ers did not pick on last night. If you're watching this on a Friday, they did not pick on Thursday night. So they took the opportunity to be able to address the wide receiver position. We know that more than likely Brandon Ayuk is not coming back. So you have some question marks at the wide receiver position. You got Ricky Pearsall, who has been injured consistently. And you need somebody that can possibly be your number one guy for Brock Purdy. So, they decided to go wide receiver. So the Saints are on the clock as of right now, since the Cincinnati Bengals have picked. And it's very, very simple, ladies and gentlemen. Do not put the draft pick inside of the chat. Okay, we're going to find out together. Do not do it. I know some people want to be first, but please, let's find out together. All right, keep that information to yourself. All right, we don't want to see that. All right, we'll talk about it and break it down once it happens. Once again, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shouts out to everybody that was a part of night number 1. We had a good time, really good turnout right there, really good numbers on last show. And shouts out to you all for sliding through. Shouts out to everybody that hit that like button. Shouts out to everybody that commented throughout the show, making it exactly what it is. All right, so the Saints are on the clock right now. And we got Saints legend, Saints all-time leading receiver, Marcus Colston. And let's see what they got to say. So Christian Miller, defensive tackle. So the Saints addressing the interior line. Defensive player, Christian Miller, really good player right there. Going from the University of Georgia, guy that's super athletic, at the D tackle position. So the New Orleans Saints decided to go with Christian Miller. And I know some people may not, know him, but he's a really good football player, man. Really good athletic guy. Like one of those top athletic, players in the entire draft at his position. So that was a really good pick right there. I was wondering what the Saints were going to do, but this is a guy that can get after. And we know the Saints need to be able to stop the run. You have a couple guys on your football team on the interior line, like Brian Brzee. You had Vernon Broughton who got injured, but this is a guy right here, extremely durable, extremely athletic, and a really good pick. Played in 43 games and started 24 at the University of Georgia. That's what it's all about right here. Getting guys that are easy studies. I like this. Easy study players. Easy. Very, very simple. Don't make things more difficult than what they got to be. All right. So I think that was a good pick. All right, what y'all think about the pick? I think it's pretty good. Like, you want to be able to address the interior line. That man is fired up. He's fired up, man, as well as he should be. Like I said, man, he's a really good player. One of the top defensive tackles in this draft and some people's book. So I like the pick. I think the Saints trying to get athletic on the defensive line. As we know that, the University of Georgia, they know how to put together a defensive tackle. I can tell you that. I mean, you already see Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, so yeah, that's a really good pick, man. Really good pick by the New Orleans Saints. And so what y'all think about that? What y'all think about that pick? I mean, I came right on time. All right, so he had 10 solo, 1.5 sacks last season, but most of the time, most of his play just involves him plugging up the middle and being that force, to be able to neutralize teams running up the gap, so the A gap. So I think that was a good pick. So we see Jordan Tyson, with pick number 1, and now we see Christian Miller with pick number 2 for the New Orleans Saints. All right, so let me see what you all have to say. 239 people watching this right now. Thank you so much for being here. Says push that pocket into Chase Young. Yep. You need somebody that's going to be able to do that. And this guy has a high motor. I don't know if y'all seen this guy play, but yeah, man, he can make plays. Says we need those space waters. Yep. We need to address the D line. Yep, and the New Orleans Saints did that. Says good pick. Says we need those athletic space eaters. Absolutely. Chad, is this a good pick? I would have to say yes. I don't want to speak for everybody. Excellent pick. Got to give Mickey and company credit. They're up there cooking with hickory smoked charcoal. So, hey, that's a nice analogy right there. Nice analogy right there, because I guess it's nice for me because I plan on cooking with some hickory smoked charcoal tomorrow. I guess that's near and dear to my heart right there, man. TJ, the Saints like Brzee, but that Miller pick is a shout out to him and the direct challenge to be better and available. Yeah, I think it's that, and I don't know what you're gonna do with Nate Shepard and stuff like that. Nate Shepard had a good season last year, but I think the Saints just trying to get younger, and also Vernon Broughton. Like Vernon Broughton, he got injured very early in the season. I'm interested to see what he's gonna do. What he's gonna do in 2026, because he seemed like he was getting everything together, but man, the Saints are trying to get young across this defensive line. They're trying to get young, they're trying to get explosive, and they're trying to create havoc. So I guess it's good, but them corners gonna be gone, man. But if you look at the cornerback position, like who are you gonna gamble on? Like Colton Hood already gone. I believe Stooks was gone. Like, who are you betting on? Like, look, I know people are like, high on Jermaine McCoy, but man, you already taking a gamble with Jordan Tyson in round one with a questionable injury history. Are you going to do the same thing in round number two? So you're talking about two guys that could possibly be boom or bust players. I don't know if teams are going to do that. I can see them doing it once, but doing it like in back-to-back picks, I don't know. I think that McCoy will end up getting drafted. I think his name is going to be called soon, but I think it's probably going to be one of those teams that don't necessarily need him right now. And if they draft him, it's probably, because they understand that they can wait for him and trust him. But I mean, you talking about back-to-back picks with guys that have injury history. I don't think that's a good idea. As good as McCoy can be for you, if we're talking about this in the third round and McCoy is there and you want to take a gamble on him, I think I'm okay with that if I'm Mickey Loomis in the front office. But I don't think I'm doing that in back-to-back picks with guys with the same type of question marks. All right, so we got the Dolphins on the clock right now, and they're making their selection. And they're going with Keen Arthur's guy, Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker out of Texas Tech. So this is a guy right here. He's a leader. He's a guy that plays sideline to sidelines, and he's going to be that captain eventually for the Miami Dolphins as they try to revamp this football team and try to change the culture. A lot of egos were in that locker room last season. You got rid of a bunch of guys that you felt, maybe you need to go in a different direction with them not being on the team. So, having Jacob Rodriguez, bringing in Proctor at left tackle, these are the type of moves that you make in order for you to try to create a new culture. So the Miami Dolphins with a really good linebacker right here. Some people consider one of the top linebackers, if not the top linebacker in the draft. Depends on, how you're looking at it. But I think he's a smart, instinctive football player, really good eyes. Most of the time, if he got his hands around you, you're going down. He's not going to miss too many tackles. So credit to him. Jermaine McCoy and Avion Terrell was right there. Yeah, that was right there. But like I said, I mean, when it comes to McCoy, we're talking about the Saints possibly taking two guys with durability issues in the first two rounds. But as far as Avion Terrell, I think when what the New Orleans Saints are looking at is they're trying to fix this interior. They're trying to fix this interior line. They don't want teams to be running on them. You're running a 3-4, man. You definitely need to have yourself some athletic guys with that have a really good pad level and can plug up the middle. You need those guys, and getting a guy like Christian Miller, that's not a bad pick. What's your thoughts on the trade rumors with the Giants? Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to bring that up. Jordan Schultz, insider, reported that the New York Giants are considering trading edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau, and the Saints are one of those teams that have interest, and it could possibly happen tonight. I liked it. I actually like it. I think Kayvon Thibodeau needs a change of scenery. If you look at the Giants, it seems like they're trying to get a little bit more explosive, right? They got some really good, talented young players on the line. And they can look at a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau as being expendable. And the Saints can definitely use a guy like Thibodeau, to go alongside the edge rushers that they have with Chase Young and Carl Granderson and crew. So if you can bring in Kayvon Thibodeau, that would be great. You can never have too many pass rush. But the question is, what are you going to give up for him? Like, are you going to give up a third-round pick for him, right? What will the Giants take for him? I mean, he's not the player that they expected him to be when he came out of college. So are you going to be giving up a third-round pick? Are you going to maybe add a player into that draft pick? So what are you going to do is the question. We'll see. Hope they score a lot of points next year. That secondary needs help. I wanted that DB from Miami. Yeah. Well, we'll see how this draft kind of, pans out. I mean, maybe you don't get a guy that's like a Colton Hood or a Stooks, but maybe you'll get another one of these cornerbacks that can, be able to play the nickel. Well, maybe it's just the fact that the Saints trust Quincy Riley. Like, you ever thought about that? Maybe the Saints have confidence in Quincy Riley being opposite of Kool-Aid McKinstry. And maybe they want to look for a guy that can maybe play in a nickel. But are you going to take a guy who is going to be a nickel corner that high? That's the question. Man, you can find a really good solid nickel in the third round. Maybe that's how the Saints are looking at it. I can't believe the Saints took a Georgia player. Yeah. I mean, who would have thought, right? They said they feel good about their secondary. Yeah, I mean, look, maybe, Saints fans are not putting too much stock into Quincy Riley, but maybe Quincy Riley could be the answer to the New Orleans Saints question at cornerback. It's not like he's terrible. I think he played pretty doggone good. I think he played really well last season, when he was thrust into the lineup. I really do. So I don't look at that as like, oh man, this dude just god awful. Would you like another guy that can be that shutdown? But yeah, maybe. But if Quincy Riley can do it for you and get better, like no need for you to go out here and try to reinvent the wheel here. Says I trust the process. Yeah. I mean, look, just because a guy's name isn't called in the top, 2 rounds, that don't mean like in the 3rd round or the 4th round, you won't find a player that can't get busy on the field. Like, keep that in mind, folks. I know we want these guys who just go out there and, getting double-digit sacks, and we feel like that just comes in the 1st round and the 2nd round. But, man, you got some players that can do some amazing things for teams in some of these later rounds. So you got to trust the process. Got to trust the evaluators out there, man. Let's go get the safety from Toledo and trade a 5th and a 4th next year for Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, if you give up like one of the draft picks that you got from Seattle, I don't feel like that will be hurtful to your team, right? You got that because of a trade with Shaheed. But my question is, like, where are you going with that, right? If you get Thibodeau, you're going to have to pay him, right? I mean, you pretty much made up your mind that you have to pay this man X amount of dollars. And if he comes out there and, has a monster season, then you talking about paying this dude like top dollar. Now, the Saints would be able to. That's the good news, because the salary cap situation is going to be much better next season than it is even this season. But, you're basically going to be paying a guy based on like one true year production. Like Kayvon Thibodeau made some plays with the Giants, but it's never been to a point where he looked like he was like worth that 1st round tag and how high he was taken in the 1st round of the draft. So what are you going to do there is the question. I have absolutely no idea. But at the end of the day, like, you're going to have to pay this guy if he goes out and makes plays. And you might end up having to pay him like he a top edge rusher. And the question is, do you want to do that? Do you want to pay Kayvon Thibodeau like he's a top player in the entire NFL at that position? On these next 6 picks, where do you see the Saints going? More on the defense or offense? I think you're going to see a little bit of both. I think you're going to see a cornerback taken. I think you're going to see an interior lineman taken. I wouldn't be surprised if the interior lineman be the next thing that they take, unless they just fall in love with, maybe if Mike Washington there for you, a running back or something like that. If he's there, like I would take him in round 3. They pick on defensive tackle Christian Miller. Yep, they pick Christian Miller. I don't have an issue with that. I think guy's pretty doggone talented. That's cool. Pay him less than Chase. He better than Grando. We just need McNeil Warren. Well, like I said, this is a guy who is going to be up for a big contract. So if he's up for a big contract and he has a big time year, guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to pay this guy. You got to pay this guy, or you're going to let him walk. So that's unfortunate right there. That's very unfortunate. I'm actually trying to get back to ESPN here. Says TJ Pines and Terrell still out there. I'm betting we take a cornerback with 73. Well, look, if you're able to get Keontae Scott in the 3rd round, or able to get like one of these other top cornerbacks, then that's fine. And Mark Ingram, you got Mark Ingram at the podium. I don't know how to feel about this if you're a Saints fan. I mean, Mark Ingram not really synonymous with the Baltimore Ravens. But hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Got Mark Ingram up here. But I mean, honestly, when you think about the Baltimore Ravens, you don't think about no Mark Ingram. I mean, a couple of decent sound bites when he was with Baltimore, but yeah, we all know he's more of a New Orleans Saint than a Raven. Why trade for Thibodeau when you can draft defensive end Danny Sutton from Penn State? Yeah, or you can get my guy Nadine Tucker from Western Michigan. Okay, so they got Zion Young from Missouri. The Baltimore Ravens select. You know they love themselves some edge rushes. Is Dennis Sutton still out there? Yeah, I don't think he got drafted. I don't like it, TJ. Hey, we look. I don't know. It's like I don't think a lot of people love the trenches. Y'all notice that? A lot of people don't love the trenches. Like when you draft like an interior lineman, defensive tackle, interior offensive lineman, people like, man, we should have got this. But man, if you can't run the football, if teams running all over you, boy, you want that interior lineman. So it's like one of those positions that's not sexy, but it's necessary, right? I mean, it's sexy. It's not sexy, but it's necessary. TJ, Quincy Riley had one of the highest man coverage grades for all cornerbacks, even higher than Derek Stingley. Well, look, you have to ask yourself this, though. Keno. This is how we gotta put this thing into perspective. We gotta ask: is his grade high because he didn't take those many snaps, or is it high because when he played a lot of snaps and it looks that way? It's almost like if you're 100% from the free throw line, but you took one free throw. Like what do we do? Like that? That's not that impressive, right? If you say I'm 100% from the free throw line, man, dang, you weren't missing nothing. But when you find out it was just one free throw taken, so I mean, I think that Quincy Riley is talented. Is he like a true number 2 corner? We'll see. Because I think the Saints are going to give him an opportunity to make that decision. Tanya said, no, TJ, I'm talking Mark Ingram. Okay, I thought you was talking about Christian Miller. But yeah, I don't understand it. And they got Rondé Barber at the podium now. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the clock. Okay, so Josiah Trotter. So back-to-back Mizzou Tigers going back-to-back. So Josiah Trotter. All right, so they bring in some more defensive help, right? They bring in, like, you lose Levante David, he retires, and now you're going to need somebody to be able to pick up the slack. TJ, we need another edge rush and cornerback, and you can get that. Man, there's a lot of really good defensive players still available, folks. A lot of good guys that are going to be contributors. Now, they probably not end up being like your sack leaders, but they're going to be some fan favorites and some difference makers. Like, everybody is not going to be a top player, in the NFL. Like, they got way more role players in the NFL than there are stars. I want people to understand that there are way more role players in the National Football League than there are superstars. Emmanuel McNeil Warren is dropping. And also Emmanuel Pregnon is dropping as well. I haven't heard Emmanuel Pregnon's name either. So he's dropping. Hell, the game is won in the trenches. Yeah, it's won in the trenches, but like I said, it's one of those positions that people just turn a blind eye to it until it sucks. And then all of a sudden, like, man, we need something, man. We need. All right, the Steelers are on the clock, man, but we got to go ahead and pay some bills. This show is brought to you by Lucy. This is the State of the Saints podcast. And right now, I want to thank the fine folks at Lucy for being the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. And look, everybody is trying to find ways to unwind, to relax, to have focus, and to have more energy. Some people like energy shots, energy drinks, coffee, right? Even neuro pills to try to get you to focus a little bit more. Everybody is trying to find ways to be in a zone and in a really good space. Now, this is for all of the pouch connoisseurs out there. This is where Lucy comes in. Lucy is 100% tobacco-free pouches, right? And it is available to you in 12 milligrams and 4 milligrams. And it also comes with a hydration capsule, so it just gives you that instant burst and a really good experience. I have a friend of mine, gave him an opportunity to try Lucy, and he has been raving about it, going absolutely crazy about it, and wondering how can he get his hands on some more. Well, if you want to get your hands on Lucy and you are a pouch connoisseur, all you have to do is go to lucy.co/code. And if you don't want to wait, all you have to do is go to their store locator and you'll be able to find Lucy in your area. Now, Lucy is for adults only of legal age, and every customer is age verified. This product contains nicotine, and nicotine, as we know, is an addictive chemical. All right, so make sure that you use responsibly. But once again, want to thank the fine folks at Lucy for being an official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. And if you are a pouch connoisseur, once again, go to lucy.co/code to get 20% off on Lucy. Shouts out to Lucy being an official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast, as well as Straight Up TJ podcast. Appreciate that. But this is the Straight Up TJ NFL Draft Reaction Show here on YouTube. Thank you all so much for being here. Very simple. If you want to interact, all you have to do is put your comments in the chat. We see the Atlanta Falcons on the clock. Jermaine Bernard was just drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, so they need another wide receiver in the room. Add to their wide receiver room. They got DK Metcalf, we already know. And, they got some other players as well. They're trying to add to this wide receiver room. And I think that is indeed a good start. The Atlanta Falcons are on the clock, going to be making their first pick of the 2026 draft. Of course, we know that they gave up their first round draft pick on last year to acquire James Pierce Jr., which you got to be honest, it paid off for him. James Pierce, first Falcon edge rusher to get 10 sacks in one season. And also, here's a interesting fact. I believe that was the first Georgia Bulldog that the Saints have drafted since 2015. Not just in the second round, just period. They have not drafted a Georgia Bulldog. Just think about all of the good Georgia Bulldog players that have come to the NFL, and the Saints haven't drafted any. Too busy falling in love with Ohio State players, which justifiably so. But my goodness, man. I mean, how much SEC football do you watch? And you don't draft Georgia players. I don't understand it. I don't know. Maybe Charles Grant gave him some bad some flashback, but Charles Grant wasn't terrible. Let's see. They gave the Saints an A for both our picks. Not that it matters what the experts think. Yeah, I mean it don't matter, but I mean, look, that's a plus. That's an absolute plus, man. That you're able to, hit it out of the park. And I don't have an issue with any decisions that the New Orleans Saints have made so far. I don't think any Saints fan, like from what I see, maybe you want something a little bit more sexier, but you understand the picks. And I think that's something that fans just want. Like, just want to be able to understand the picks, man. Like, you don't want to just sit up there and be like, oh my goodness, man, what the heck is going on, man? Like, you don't want to keep on living like that. Like, you want to go out there and just make things simple. Like, don't make things difficult. And I think that's something that the Saints have done that has paid off for them. They're not trying to go out here and reinvent the wheel. Like, don't reinvent the wheel, right? Do not reinvent the wheel. Just go out there and draft the best player available at a position of need. And Christian Miller was if you look at the draft boards, if you look at the scouting reports, Christian Miller is a top second round pick. You know, and like I said, he's one of the top interior tackles, you know, interior linemen in this entire, draft. So you got yourself a really good defensive tackle, got yourself a really good wide receiver. So you can build on that. And the Atlanta Falcons, are on the clock once again. Let's see what they're going to do with their pick. The Falcons drafting a quarterback would be funny, though. And I don't see that happening. If I would guess, and I hope this don't happen, I just hope they're not a running back. But I don't think they would draft a running back in the second round. But I hope not. I hope they don't get Mike Washington. But wouldn't this be something if they was to get Avion Terrell? And you got the Terrell brothers on each side. Man, that would be crazy, right? I mean, they need some help in a secondary. Might get an offensive lineman here. Need some help on the offensive line as well. I think they had one of their key offensive linemen retire, so this can actually be an interior lineman. But we'll see. That Mike Turner. Yeah, that's Michael Turner. Everybody see that Turner the burner right there. One of the Falcons I actually respect. Wow. That's crazy. Then I just talk that up, man. Golly, man. Man, that is crazy. You're going to have brother on east side. Dang, that's crazy. That is crazy, man. That's crazy. What if you're a parent, man? That gotta be like one of the happiest like like, I mean, you got the McCourty twins playing with the Patriots, but two brothers like playing on. You got the number one and number two. That's crazy. Says TJ, give me them lottery numbers. I mean, that's crazy though, man. But they, you look at what they actually need. But but that's crazy, right? I mean, he's gonna be playing opposite of his brother. That gotta be cool though. That gotta be pretty doggone cool. LOL. Oh my God, that's crazy work, man. So the Falcons got the Terrell brothers. Wow, yeah, that's crazy, right? Man, they might be able to do something. Can you imagine being a parent though, and both of your sons like get drafted to the same team? And like because of his brother, like he was a fan of the Falcon. So now you get to play alongside his brother, man. What a moment right there. Whether you like the Falcons or not, man, that got to be one hell of a moment. All right, we got a trade alert. The Minnesota Vikings are making a trade, and they are trading with the Carolina Panthers. All right, so we got a little NFC South action going. All right, so the Panthers see somebody. I wonder who they're going to get. Is this Emmanuel Pregnon? Are they going to try to fix this offensive line? They're gonna try to get Emmanuel Pregnon. They do need some help on his offensive line. So let's see what they're gonna do right here. I mean, you got your pass rushers, right? You got Devin Lloyd, you got Jalen Phillips. So this might have to be the offensive line right here. This may have to be the offensive line. It might be Emmanuel Pregnon or something. Please don't be, Scott. The Panthers better not get a corner. I mean, look, we all know they had some talented corners, and we know there was going to be a run of corners in the second round because there wasn't too many. So I'm just wondering, man, like what you going to get here? I would have to say offensive line, like Emmanuel Pregnon or something. Or I mean, I know they addressed the offensive line in the first round. They're going to do it again. That boy Jake Delhomme. Okay. That's not a bad pick. That's not a bad pick, Big Lee Hunter. All right, so you got somebody go up with Derek Brown, go next to him. All right, so they're trying to stop the run here. Miller and Brzee stuff in the run game. Yeah, you got to throw Broaden up in there too. I think Broaden gonna be good, man. You just gotta stay healthy. They got a demon low key, man. The Panthers have done a really good job this offseason. They're bringing in pieces like to go around some of the selections that they made. So this is a guy, man. I mean, he's a big run stuffer, man. So you address the offensive line. Now you're addressing the defensive line. You know, not bad. They're trying to add to this defensive line room. Panthers trying to stop the run game. I mean, yeah, I mean they struggled with that last season. They struggled with that, which is the reason why. Which is the reason why, if you're the Saints, you got to fix this interior. You got David Edwards. Now it's time to possibly, try to find his replacement for Cesar. Ooh. TJ, if we take Scott and Perkins Jr., I'll be happy. Yeah, I mean, I like Keontae Scott. It seemed like he's sliding. It seemed like he's sliding down his draft board, but I think he's gonna be a high. If he is not a second round pick, he's gonna be a high third round pick. If he's not a low second round pick, he's gonna be a high third round pick. I just don't see Keontae Scott being on the board very long. I think his tape too good. I just think that he play like teams look at him more as a nickel, right? And if you look at some of these corners that are being drafted right now, these guys can play outside, right? I mean, Keontae Scott is going to be your starting nickel back if you were to draft him. And I don't see teams like, oh man, I'm in this second round pick on a nickel. I don't think so. Provost says, what if we draft the other Terrell brother? Something petty Sean Payton would do. Nah, I mean he already got drafted. He's playing for the Falcons, so he's gonna be playing with his brother. Them boys gonna be playing backyard football. That's exactly what we need. I'm glad he's sliding. Hopefully, he's their man. Well, you still got a long way to go, man. You still got a long way to go, and he is a player. He's a player that a lot of teams are going to be looking at. Emmanuel McNeil Warren as a safety out of Toledo. These are some of the top players right now. Jermon McCoy. This is according to ESPN's best available. Emmanuel McNeil Warren from Toledo. Anthony Hill Jr. Out of Texas. You got Eli Stowers, the tight end out of Vanderbilt. You got Zachariah Branch from Georgia, the wide receiver. Chris Brazzell, wide receiver out of Tennessee. Gabe Jacobs, edge out of Indiana. CJ Allen, linebacker out of Georgia. Emmanuel Pregnon, offensive guard from Oregon. Keontae Scott is ranked number 11, cornerback out of Miami. So those are your top, I say top 11. I just read you 10 more guys because it goes without saying Jermichael McCoy, if he didn't have those injury question marks, he would have been taken off the board ages ago. But who knows, man? I mean, if McCoy's there in the third round, like, do you take him? Right? Would you take McCoy over Keontae Scott? Here's a guy, McCoy, who is very, very talented, a guy that a lot of scouts consider as a top corner. Like, are you going to take him? In the third round. So that's the question. Or are you going to go after maybe an interior lineman? You look at some of the interior linemen that are available. I mean, number one is Emmanuel Pregnon, who I feel like is probably going to end up being drafted very soon. Arnaz Cooper, Jalen Farmer, right? I mean, you got Brian Parker from Duke. So you have some question marks on it on the interior. That includes Eric McCoy. Like Eric McCoy, like he's been injured over the last couple of years. Can you trust him to play an entire 17-game season? All right, so Curtis, my favorite Martian. Curtis, my favorite Martin, Pro Football Hall of Famer right there, man. So you got to give credit what credit is due, man. The Jets are having a really good draft. I know people were making fun of Aaron Glenn falling asleep. That's funny. That's funny because I got an idea why he was asleep. But anyway, look, they've been having a really good draft, man. They've been having a really good draft. They have a really good draft. I see what they're going to do here. All right, so D'Angelo Pines off the board. So D'Angelo Pines is off the board. Now that leaves Keontae Scott, Jermichael McCoy. So yeah, I mean, this doesn't surprise me at all. You think about Aaron Glenn, I mean, he was an undersized corner. So he probably see a little bit of himself in D'Angelo Pines. And he don't play like it. He 5'8", but he don't play like it. All right, but let's see. Okay, so D'Angelo Pines is gone. So let's see who the best cornerbacks that are available right now. We mentioned McCoy. We mentioned Brandon Cease out of South Carolina. Keontae Scott, Malik Muhammad. It's funny. Malik Muhammad said that he looks at himself as like a Darrelle Revis type cornerback. I'm like, if you're gonna say that you good, man, look, you using Darrelle Revis, you better go out there and ball out. You got Keith Arbney out of Arizona State. You got Will Lee the third, who I think is pretty talented, man. Probably can be a nickel corner for you in the later rounds. He has he's like 6'2", real long wingspan right there. Kind of struggles a little bit, a little handsy. So I feel like he probably gonna end up like kind of dropping because of that. But he has like really good size if you're going to put him in the nickel. You got Devin Moore from Florida that's still available. You got Dalen Everett out of Georgia. It's slim pickings right now. So if Keontae Scott is gone and somebody takes a gamble on McCoy, it might be a minute, probably maybe like fourth round. You're probably gonna see more cornerbacks taken off the board. So let's see. I hope we get Keontae Scott in the third if he's there. If he's there, man, I don't know. I mean, you got a long way to go before, third round. Quite a few other teams got to pick, and those teams are going to need some cornerback help. All right, so I'm thinking if I'm a betting man, I'm gonna say that the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, you probably got to go defense here. So I mean, they went defensive line. So I'm gonna say, man, they probably gonna end up like maybe going after a linebacker or something like that, or a corner. I think they're gonna have to address the defense right here. Yeah, I mean, okay, that makes sense. I don't know about Goldie. Man, that's a shocker. That's a shocker right there. I wouldn't think they would have went after him. I mean, not bad, but man, you look at some of these other linebackers on the board. I don't know. He's a instinctive linebacker. Like, man, look, there you see right there, man. He ain't afraid to like stick his nose in and be a part of the play. He has a really good twitch. Like, only issue with him is sometimes, man, he get kind of lost in coverage. Like sometimes he can be a little bit of a liability in coverage, but you can blitz with him. He can get after the quarterback. Yep, as we see right there. Now he's a guy that can get after it, man. But I think he's a little bit of a liability in coverage, which is one of the reasons why I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I think I probably would have went, maybe in a different direction. I mean, you still got some pretty good linebackers that's still on his board, man. I would have taken before him. I would have took CJ Allen right there. I would have took Deontay Lawson right there. I think he kind of fits that same mold. So let's see. Y'all know me. Say Vikings need a safety. Yeah, they need a safety, but I think, I knew they was gonna go defense. I knew they had to go defense. I would have thought they would have went. I would have thought they would have got Allen. TJ, you think Scott or McCoy make it to 73? I think you have a better chance of McCoy making it to 73 than Scott. I do, man. I think that you don't want to make a gamble on a player, that you have question marks. It has to be the perfect spot for McCoy. It has to be a team that understand that, okay, he might not be available for you at the beginning of the season. And do you have enough to be able to hold up? It's almost like, I'm about to tell my age here. Y'all remember when Willis McGahee got hurt in that national championship game against Ohio State? Well, some of y'all do. And Willis McGahee, he tore everything, man. And, he still ended up like getting drafted. And, I think, Buffalo, they took a flyer on him. Like, they took a flyer on him, but they knew he wasn't going to be ready at the beginning of the season. They knew it probably was going to be more of a red shirt season, but they believed in his ability. It's kind of going to have to be the same way to me with McCoy. Now, they saying that, he on the right uptick, but our teams are going to have enough confidence to say, you know what, man, we're going to invest in this, right? We feel like he's going to be trending in the right direction. He'll be available to us. And when he does, he's going to be out there and make it a difference. But I don't know. That's tough right there. That's tough. All right, you still got a few more picks. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 more picks to round out the second round. So we got about 13 picks. So if you're looking at Keontae Scott, 13 teams going to have to pass on him in this round, right? And, the Saints picking, in the third round, even though it's like relatively early at the end of the day, like, man, that's a lot of teams out here that can use a player like Keontae Scott. I look at the Eagles, man. He kind of fit that mold. Man. We know Eagles like those players that, got a little dog in them, like maybe a little rough around the edges. He kind of fits that mold right there. I mean, I look at the Chicago Bears. Maybe they'll be taking a look at a guy in the secondary. Maybe the Rams, that maybe they'll take a look at them. They need some help in their secondary. So you got a few teams out there that are going to have to pass up on Scott. I just don't know, man. I think this guy is too good to pass up. But like I said, when you look at a cornerback that doesn't play, inside and out, or not known for playing inside and out, teams are like, they don't look at them as valuable as some of these other guys that can do both. So, we'll see though. We'll see. I'm just shocked Emmanuel Pregnon is still on his board. I am shocked. I know I'm stuttering now. I know he's not gonna be on the board. I'm trying to look at TV and talk at the same time. But yeah, I don't, man, I can't see this guy going into the third round. I might take the risk and trade up for McCoy. Crazy upside if things work out, but might be too risky having already taken Tyson. Yeah, man, look, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think you should do that. Yeah, Brandon Cisse. So yeah. So like I said, I mean, this is another guy. This is another guy that can play inside and outside. Brandon Cisse out of South Carolina. You know, so there's a guy that can play both positions. What if the Saints draft Malik Muhammad? I'm not mad at that. Malik Muhammad, he's pretty good. I like his confidence comparing himself to Darrelle Revis. I don't believe him, but for you to sit up there in front of an entire room of reporters and say that you see yourself as like a Revis type. My apology for cousin family, but when it comes to the Falcons, I gotta keep it 100. Let's see. I already read that. Says I think we should get Anthony Hill Jr. That would be a steal. Man, they got a couple. They got a couple like defensive players, some edge rushers out here. If the Saints land, I think that Saints fans ought to be like over the hill, ecstatic, if you will, if they was to get some of these guys, man. If they was to get like some of these guys, like I'm just taking a look here. I mean, like Anthony Lucas. Like Anthony Lucas, like I would be excited. Like I think this guy has a lot of potential. I think that he's talented. Nadeem Tucker, definitely. I would think that Saints fans should be overly excited if they end up like getting him. I'm telling you, I'm looking at this list. They got a few other guys. LT Overton, I like him a lot. Yeah, man. If the Saints can grab some of those guys, I think Saints fans should be excited about that. But yeah, I mean, everybody's not going to have a first round grade, and everybody's not going to be able to like just give you, like I said, be that 10 sack guy. But when you need, a guy that's giving you between 5 to 7 sacks in a season, I think that these players are indeed capable. I don't think that you just need to look past that. If these guys are in the second and third and the fourth round. If you're comparing yourself to Revis, that's massive confidence. Yeah. I mean, for you to stand in a room full of folks, and say that you look at yourself as a Darrelle Revis type, like you knew somebody was going to say something about it. Like, man, you heard what he said? You heard he said he compared himself to who? And for you to sit up there and say that and have that type of confidence in yourself to believe that, I mean, you basically setting yourself up for greatness. Are you setting yourself up for failure? One or the other. Ain't no in between. What how that song say? Ain't no way around it. Ain't no way around it. You setting yourself up for greatness, or you setting yourself up for a failure? Let's see. TJ, be honest. The time schedule is going well. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's going well. Like I said, I just want to see. I just want to see the Saints like have a solid draft. I think right now, they're having themselves a good draft. You can tell the scouts have done their homework, and that's all you can ask for. All you can ask for is for these scouts to do their homework. Like you sitting up there basically just going, winging it, or getting guys that had a good athletic test, Like, man, his athleticism off the charts. Like, can he play? Is he going to be available to you? A lot of these players that they're getting, these guys are difference makers. I think they did a really good job last season. They got guys that played a lot of football games. And the reason why they got those guys because they played a lot of football games, some people would say, oh, they got experience. I think it had a lot to do with the fact these guys playing a lot of football games. It shows you that they're durable. And that's been an issue with the Saints over the last couple of years. I think, yeah, they can play, but I think it had a lot to do with their durability as well. You have some players out there that's durable, that can make plays. Man, guess what? That's a plus right there. Like you get some guys that can go out there, make some things happen. So, when you're doing stuff like that, when you got a bunch of players on your team that have the capability of making plays, you're fine. So there's that. I'm actually still on here, folks. I'm just trying to actually get back to ESPN. Yeah, my office sometimes it has like a really rough signal, man. I think I'm gonna have to end up like getting a new router in this office because like since I got this router in here, it's been running like really slow over the last couple of weeks, kind of causing my television to run kind of slow. So trying to get back to it. But what do you all think about the second round pick? What do y'all think about the New Orleans Saints second round pick, Christian Miller? What do y'all think about some of these draft picks? If you're not a Saints fan and you're just tuning in, what do you think about your team? What do you think about their selections? I think that this has been a solid draft so far. That's one thing I can say. Been a really good, solid draft. So that's a good thing. Says front office been on a heater. Definitely an exciting time to be a Saints fan. Yeah, just go out there, do your homework, and make sure that you're doing all the right things to make your team better. And I think if you do that, then I don't think people will be on your case. But I think the biggest issue with the organization, over the last few years, I just think that they kind of, I think they fell asleep at the wheel. And I think that they felt like they had enough goodwill build up among Saints fans that they felt like they could. And I just think when Saints fans started to hold them accountable and they started to like really frustrate the Saints fans, I think that kind of just woke them up and said, okay, we going to show y'all, like, we got the capabilities. When you like you got to have some level of pride within yourself, right, folks? Like if somebody talking about, man, you need to get fired, get this bum up out of here, blase, and you are still and you still up there, like just not trying to do anything about it. Well, I feel like you need to be fired. But if somebody calling you out and feeling like you don't have the ability to get things done, and you still sitting up here, not rising to the occasion, well, I think we pretty much got our question answered. You're not willing to do what's necessary in order to help the team win. You care too much about your ego, your pride. And that's not ideal, especially if you're a general manager or you're working in the front office and your job is to make sure that you bring the best players available to your team. That's not going to get the job done. So at the end of the day, you got to have a level of pride about yourself. If somebody telling you that you're not good enough, that you are talented enough to get things done. And what Saints fans were telling the front office is they didn't believe in them anymore. TJ Famous Face, I always agree with, no slow motors. Yeah, man, look, you got to be able to get some guys that are going to be able to run. Like if you're running, especially if you got a 3-4 defense, like you got to have some speed. You got to have a big athletic interior lineman up front, and you definitely got to have some linebackers that can be able to run sideline to sideline. I just think that's been the Saints' biggest issue defensively. Like they've been fundamentally sound on the defensive side of football, but they lack guys that have that explosiveness to be able to get sideline to sidelines and maybe get those 10 to 15 tackles a game. Like that's what I feel like the Saints are missing consistently. Like, yeah, Demario Davis did it. And yeah, he did a good job. And yeah, Demario, he definitely was a leader for the Saints. But at the end of the day, it's like you need that consistently. And you definitely want to get that from like a younger player where he can be doing that for the next, 7 to 10 years. If he plays cards right, if you drafted the right guy, you know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to get that. That's why, when I talk to some of these Saints fans out here and people like, oh man, we should have never let this guy go, let that guy go. To me, that's your emotions saying that. Like it's because you like that guy, and it has to be deeper. Like I'm not saying you can't value a player or like them, but you also got to be realistic about this, right? What are you trying to do, right? Are you trying to run a popularity contest or are you trying to run a football team? That's the question. And sometimes, unpopular opinions may cause for a guy to have to go. But I guarantee you, it's going to be a lot of unpopular opinions if your team just sitting up there stinking it up all over the place. So that's what it is at the end of the day, man. That's what it is at the end of the day, folks. Says lack speed on the edge or on defense. Yeah, I mean, you got to have speed, man. Like these teams, you got to be able to counteract. You got to be able to counteract what these teams are doing, because you're gonna just fall by the wayside if not. It's gonna fall by the wayside. All right, so let's see what we missed so far, man. I mean, in the process of me trying to get this television back on track. All right, so strolling down here. Okay, so Eli Stowers went to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's interesting, like especially since they gave Dallas Goedert a 1-year contract. The Indianapolis Colts, they took C.J. Allen. So those were the last two picks that were had. And then you have Gabe Jacobs, edge from Illinois, from the New England Patriots. Let's see. Say I missed it. Who we got so far? I just got off work, bro. Well, the Saints drafted Christian Miller. If you're a Saints fan, if you would like, I can basically tell you everybody that was, in the second round, but we're almost to the end of that. If you were talking about the Saints, that Christian Miller was their pick. So Gabe Jackins. All right, so yeah, that's definitely a New England Patriots style player right there. Yeah, that's a good pick right there. I think he can be a solid edge rusher for the Patriots. I really do. I think now I don't see 10 sack guy. I don't see that. Like he had a really good he had a really good season. Like he had 11 sacks, but I don't, man, honestly, I don't see an 11 sack guy. I don't see a double digit sack guy consistently. He might he might give you some flirt with 10 sacks, but I don't think he's going to be a consistent 10 sack guy. Well, that is pretty impressive in the Big Ten having 11 sacks, but I don't see that consistently. Vikings trade Jonathan Gerard to the Eagles. All right. I mean, man. Oh, okay. Jonathan Greenard. Okay. So they trade Jonathan Greenard to the Eagles, and in exchange, the Eagles receive the 2026 third-round pick and the 2027 third-round pick. So they get 2 third-round picks for Jonathan Greenard. So, man, the Philadelphia Eagles, they always willing and dealing, man. Howie always willing and always freaking dealing. My goodness. All right, but we got to keep an eye on this NFL draft, because I don't know if some of y'all know, but we alluded to it earlier in this stream that the Saints were one of the teams that were interested in edge rusher of the New York Giants, Kayvon Thibodeau. So we got to keep an eye on that to see what the New Orleans Saints could possibly be in that number. No pun intended. That's a nice pick. I like it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Jackets is a guy that that kind of fits that mold for New England. All right, so now we starting to see some tight ends come off the board. I'll tell you what, man. I still don't believe Pregnon gonna be here to 70, into the 70s, but that may be somebody the Saints gonna have to consider if he's still on the board. Because that's somebody that's gonna. I tell you what, that's a guy that's gonna push Cesar Ruiz, and he might end up just pushing him right out the door. I'm just saying. Are we talking about like the Saints need to find somebody to compete with Caesar? That might be your guy. That might be your guy, ladies and gentlemen. But good draft so far, man. I mean, it's going by pretty fast. Teams seem like they know what they want. You know, not. Man, y'all remember with them drafts? Like, man, they used to get these teams like a million years to make their selection. Like, man, like draft used to be on all day, all night. So I like the fact that they kind of, you know, change some things up to try to speed up the process. Has Cassius Howard been picked? Yeah, but I believe he has. Let me take a look. Let me take a look. I think I may have heard his name. Let's see. Yeah, he went to the Cincinnati Bengals. He was the 41st pick. He was the pick right before the Saints drafted Christian Miller. Yep, so he's going, Dalton. Every year, them Eagles always surprise us with those trades that you don't expect. Yeah, I don't know where this man be getting that money from. I know where he be getting that cheddar from, but he be finding it. Man, if Chris Bell dropped to the third, you got to take him. No, you don't. No, you don't. You know, I like Chris Bell, but no, you don't. I mean, man, we got you know, we gotta take this thing into consideration. You gotta take it into consideration. You got that'll be two wide receivers that have questionable durability issues, lower extremity issues, season-ending injury issues. Like, you don't want to just stockpile your team, you know, with a bunch of guys like that, man. Like, if we want to have a conversation. Every single year for the last 3 to 4 years, we've been talking about the Saints and their durability issues. Like, we can't pick and choose when we want to have this conversation. Like, if you want the Saints to have a team with guys that can be there and be available to you every single week, then guess what? Like, injuries can't be an issue. Like, you need to have somebody that's durable. That's like when people was talking about Jermaine McCoy, like, great cornerback in college, but this guy is injured. And you already just drafted Jordan Tyson with the same issues. I mean, I get what you're saying. You're saying you're desperate for juice, but will he, like, let me say this, Alfred. You're not way out in left field with your thoughts. Like, I understand where you're coming from. But what I'm saying is you don't want to just stockpile your team with guys with questionable durability issues. Like, if Chris Bell didn't have that, if the Saints didn't draft Jordan Tyson, right? If they didn't draft Jordan Tyson and Chris Bell is there in the second round, if you want to do that, then fine. Because more than likely in the first round, you drafted a guy that doesn't have questionable durability issues. But if you're talking about, you know, in the draft, Jordan Tyson, questionable durability issues, then you turn around and get McCoy. Like, you basically drafted two guys that could possibly not even be there for an entire season. And that's basically you taking 2 or 3 steps back, because that's what kind of got you in this situation in the first place. That's what's gotten the New Orleans Saints to sometimes unwatchable football. So you want some guys that's going to be available on the team. I said a few minutes ago, I think what the Saints start pattern was last season, they had a bunch of players that they drafted, played a lot of games, but in the process of them playing a lot of games, what did it show you? It showed you that they're going to be available every single week. So that's all I'm saying. Like, I get, like, Chris Bell, good player. Like, he wouldn't even be on the board right now if he didn't have the ACL. But guess what? I mean, you don't want to take that risk on a bunch of players. Maybe one player early, yeah. But 2? I mean, you playing with fire right there. You playing with fire. But we'll see. I think in the third round, I think the Saints are going to get a really good player. I mean, it is stacking up for them to get another really good player. Hopefully it's on the interior. Hopefully it's not on the interior. But we'll see. And you got the Chicago Bears. They're on the clock. Let's see what they're going to do. I mean, it seemed like they okay on the offensive line. It seemed like they fixed their offensive line. I think you might go defense here. I think they might go defense here. I'm trying to think about, offensive line. If it well, I don't know. They may get some help offensively. This might be an offensive player right here. Maybe somebody on the offensive line, maybe. But they do need help on defense. Let's see what they're gonna get. I mean, I think their offensive line pretty good, but they probably can use maybe an interior guy or a safety. Wow, dang. That's one of those sneaky. That was one of them sneaky picks I would have wanted for the Saints right there, because this guy can play guard and center. So you got a guy that can be a swing. Man, that's a good pick right there. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. You can't go wrong with offensive lineman from Iowa. You can't go wrong with a tight end from Iowa, and you can't go wrong with offensive lineman for Iowa. Like if you see tackle Iowa, center Iowa, guard Iowa, you good. you good. You straight. Tight end from Iowa, you good. Say it like Cesar Ruiz. Nah. Nah. Logan a dog, man. Logan a dog. He gonna put a little bit more size on, but he gonna be all right. He gonna be all right. All right, so we got a trade. The 49ers trade picks to the Cleveland Browns. So the Cleveland Browns going after. They're getting after it. All right, so we got David Njoku, who's going. Kevin Stefanski, Devin Bush, Wyatt Teller. So I forgot Njoku not on the team no more. I completely forgot about that. And I think he's still a free, if I'm not mistaken. Did he get picked up? No, he a free agent. So he'll be boy Joe Hayden. Well, there you have it. Emmanuel McNeil Warren. That's a good pick right there. That's a good pick right there. So I mean, you still got Keontae Scott still on the board. Still got Keontae Scott on the board as of right now. Like I said, man, these teams are looking for guys that are versatile. Like those guys that can play nickel, they feel like they can wait on those guys. So you'll probably see a nickel like going the third round. But I doubt if you see a guy that's going to be a primary nickel getting drafted in the second. That's, like it'll be one thing like if you draft him to play on the outside and he better in a nickel and you put him there, then that would be understandable. But I don't see too many teams, looking for guys to, just play nickel and you draft them in the first two rounds. See, Scott and McCoy. Yeah, if they draft McCoy, I mean, at this spot, I don't think Saints fans should get upset about that. Because number one, you need a cornerback, and I don't feel like you double dipping. Like you still taking a chance. You're still taking a chance on a guy with durability issues, but it's a little bit further in the draft. Like it's a third round pick. So, but we'll see, They may feel like, man, we already doing it with Jordan. We don't want to do it again. So just taking a look here. I'm going to continue to take a look at the best available right now. So you got Chris Brazzell still on the board, wide receiver out of Tennessee. That'll be a good 50-50 ball guy. Keontae Scott. All right, you got Jennings Dunker, offensive tackle there. Hey, he got AJ Halsey still out there, yo. Where them LSU Tiger fans at? See, man. All right, so let's see what's gonna happen here. Oh, so another tight end goes off the board here. So you got that's like the fourth tight end. Let's see how many tight ends have been taken so far. All right, so Stowers, 1, 2, so 3 so far. So 3 tight ends have been taken in the second round. They still got my boy Sam Roush out there. Still got Sam Roush out there. Hey, that'd just be a match made in heaven. Like if the Saints drafted Sam Roush. Yeah, you know that boy gonna get a Rouse's deal. You know that like they gonna automatically give him that. That just basically just kind of sells itself. If the Saints were to draft a tight end Sam Roush, and be out there with Rouse's. But yeah, I mean, he might still be there. I mean, so you only got a few more picks in the second round here. You get the Tennessee Titans on the clock. Then you got the Rams. Then you got the Denver Broncos, the Chargers, and then finally the Super Bowl champs, Seattle Seahawks. So we'll see. Says Pregnon still available. Yep, Emmanuel Pregnon is still available, believe it or not. And they had a few more offensive linemen that didn't win before him. There was a guy that some people thought could possibly be a first-round pick, late first-round pick, and he's still on the clock. Still out there, still available. I think the Titans get him. I'm trying to, man. Yeah, could possibly end up drafting him. Man, shouts out to my guy TD, man. Talking to my boy TD. He covers the Tennessee Titans. Said that he was excited about these picks and very optimistic about the Titans' future. You know, when it comes down to it, man, really well respectable Titans beat writer right there, man, covering the Titans for ESPN. Shouts out to my guy TD, man. Let's see, Titans just traded up. Yeah, they must see somebody that they like. I mean, Bud Clark, that's another guy that had a really good Senior Bowl, and a lot of teams were talking about that kid. So he's still available too. You know, this could be one of those things where, you know, the Saints may feel like, you know, somebody like Julian Blackmon can not only play safety but play nickel. They probably feel like they may have somebody on the team that can fill that void. So, but we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, so many different angles the Saints can go, you know. Yeah. So what do y'all think about the NFL draft so far? What do y'all think about some of these other teams? Like, what was the most impressive pick that y'all seen from another team? For those that are Saints fans or any other fan that's watching this. Like, what do y'all think so far? Let's see here. The NFL draft taking place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. As we know, night one was exciting. A lot of shocking developments that took place. Night two, it's not as shocking. All right, but so the NFL draft, you know, this is always an exciting time, man. It just symbolizes change. This symbolizes change, and not saying that all these draft picks going to end up making a team, but it just makes you feel like the team is hitting the reset button, and maybe, you know, this one player can come in and change everything. Falcons pick actually. Emmanuel McNeil, safety from Toledo, is nice as well, but if we're not confident in Blackmon, well, if the Saints weren't confident in Blackmon, they wouldn't have re-signed him. I mean, they could have let him walk. So they believe in the kid. And he's good, man. It's just those injuries, man. I know you can say that about a lot of players, but with him, that's his only issue. Like he's really good if he's healthy. I like Kilgore from South Carolina too, as a potential target next. Yeah, I think that's a really good pick. Let's see, man. The Tennessee Titans, see what they're gonna roll with. Maybe getting a defensive player here. Seem like they trying to revamp that defense. Yep. So you got Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker out of Texas. So, like I said, the Tennessee Titans seem like they're trying to revamp that defense. So that's how you do it. That's how you build on that, man. They're trying to get younger. They're trying to get more explosive, and you got Robert Saleh as your head coach, so he want to play some really good defense here, and he's going to an organization in Tennessee that's going to give him an opportunity to make some things happen. I mean, being a coach out there for the Jets, there's high expectations. It's a rowdy crowd, a rowdy fan base. They can be sharks sometimes, man. And some of these smaller market teams, they're a little bit more patient. Their fan base is patient. Organizations are patient. So I think this is the right spot for Robert Saleh. All right, so the Rams pick is in. So, like, you look at you lose two of your cornerbacks right here. Actually, you lose three. So maybe this can be a cornerback for them right here. Like, will they get Jermaine McCoy? Like, will they go after him? Do they feel like, they have a spot for a guy like this? But you have to ask yourself this question. Okay, you drafted Ty Simpson, who's not going to start. You draft Jermaine McCoy. If you was to get him, are you counting on him to be a day one starter? Probably not. So let's see what the Rams are going to do here. Well, regardless of what the Rams do, it always seems like it's a good idea. And these guys know how to draft, man. And boy, Tavon Austin. All right, so you got 3 more picks remaining in the second round. Let's see, the pick up the 2 cornerbacks from KC. I'd be shocked if it was a cornerback. Yeah, man. Yeah, I like I like the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs trying to get better. Like, they're trying to revamp that secondary, and they're trying to revamp that defensive line. You got to get younger, man. That's what cost them, in my opinion. I like it. It's going to be faster than usual. I can respect the Rams getting a quarterback in the draft instead of waiting and kicking that can down the road. I'm gonna say this, man. They had a lot of people saying that they got a lot of people talking about Sean McVay was upset with the decision. He was upset with the decision of getting Ty Simpson. Look, man, if Ty Simpson work out, who gonna say anything about it? And maybe he was upset. I don't know. But at the end of the day, look, you got a plan for the future. You can talk about it being too high or whatever, but if Ty Simpson ended up being a credible quarterback and he ended up like leading the Rams, into the future, like, does it really matter? Like, we always talking about, is it too early to get this player? Is it too early to get that player? If a player is good, who cares where you select them? You only care when you select a player if it don't pan out. I ain't never heard nobody say, I gave up a first, a third for an all-pro player. Man, that was a big mistake. I never heard anybody say that before, ever. Says nobody. So if you get a player that's really good, doesn't matter if you pay a king's ransom, because the only thing people care about at the end of the day are results. So if Ty Simpson sits on a bench and Matthew Stafford decides to retire at the end of the season, you got a guy ready to rock and roll. And if he checks all the boxes and does everything he needs to do in order for him to develop into the quarterback you need him to be, nobody is going to apologize. I give an example. you might not want to mention this team, but the Falcons. The Falcons gave up a king's ransom for James Pierce. But this man had 10 sacks last season. You think anybody in that war room right now feels like, outside of the mistakes that James Pierce made off the field, that the plays that he made on the field didn't justify them moving up? Like, nobody cares. You only care about what you gave up when it doesn't pan out. So I don't know. Maybe Sean McVay was mad. But at the end of the day, the general manager got to do what's best for the future of the team. And maybe, people feel like, oh, well, Sean McVay has a lot of positive equity built up. So, like he should have the last say so. But, hey, man, you got to be able to build for the future. Jets are having a strong draft. Got to give them that. Look like DeMario Davis' confidence in their ability to rebuild the maybe paying off. Yeah, I mean, it's looking like it, but look, man, you can get some really good players, right? I can give you the ingredients to cook a meal, but if you can't, you need a recipe to make ice. The meal ain't gonna look good. It ain't gonna taste good, right? It's not gonna be aesthetically pleasing. It's not gonna be satisfyingly pleasing. So, they still got to get it together. It don't matter who you get. You got to go out there and play and play. You got to go out there and ball, man. Ram GM is close friends with Simpson's dad. Well, I mean, you may be good friends with Simpson's dad, but at the end of the day, like, if he can't play, is it worth you losing your job over? You'll be down with Mike Washington third round? Absolutely. On my very last mock draft, I had Mike Washington going to the Saints in the third round. Wouldn't be mad at that at all. Bro, Ohio State be cooking in the draft. Yeah, I mean, they get a lot of talented players. They got a lot of talented players. I mean, they're gonna have some really good Ohio State players. You can believe that. All right, so Buffalo on the board. Buffalo made a trade, I believe, with the Denver Broncos. So the Broncos moving out. I don't think the Denver Broncos made any picks tonight or last night. I don't think so. Let me see. I don't think the Denver Broncos. No. So the Denver Broncos have not made a pick this entire draft. That's crazy. So, yeah. So the Denver Broncos move out of the second round. So Sean Payton don't want none of that. I mean, and they got to get a cornerback. Have they addressed the cornerback position yet? I don't think so. There's got to be cornerback here. Yep. I mean, yeah, you had to get. I mean, it was about that time, man. I don't think they addressed the cornerback position yet, and that's been the biggest Achilles heel of this team. So they got to address that. All right, so man, Keontae Scott is still on the board, folks, unless the Chargers or the Seattle Seahawks go after him. So you got 2 more picks left in the second round, folks, and then after that, you're going off to the third round. And in the third round, let's take a look at the third round. Let's see who's going to be picking before the Saints do. You got the Arizona Cardinals. They start off the third round, then the Denver Broncos, then the Raiders, then the Eagles, then the Bears, 49ers, Commanders, Bengals, and then the Saints with the 73rd pick. So, a lot of teams can get some really good players in the third round too. I'm looking at some of the best players available right now that's still on the board. Of course, Jermaine McCoy still on the board. Zachariah Branch is still on the board. Chris Brazzell, the second, still on the board. Emmanuel Pregnon, still on the board. Keontae Scott, Jennings Dunker, AJ Halsey, still on the board. Antonio Williams, Malachi Fields, Xavier Harris, Malik Muhammad still on the board. You got Mike Washington, who is the top running back that is available. You got Ted Hurst still on the board. Jalen Kilgore still on the board. Elijah Surratt still on the board. So you're gonna see what a lot of really good players still on the board, man. A lot of good players still on the board. So you got the Chargers, and then finally you get the Seahawks, and that's going to be the end of the second round. I cannot believe. Yeah, I cannot believe Emmanuel Pregnine has lasted this long. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, you got Mel Kiper talking about Pregnine, and we know that the Chargers desperately need some offensive line help. Like, look, you can be out there playing offensive line for the Chargers, probably be better than what they had out there. My goodness. My freaking goodness, man. Them boys needed some offensive line help bad. I mean, they ought to just draft make an entire draft, all their picks, offensive linemen. That's lights out. It's Sean Merriman. TJ, how do you feel about Houston Cougar tight end Tanner Kozel? Man, he was on my draft board. I had him on as a pick in my last mock draft. Yeah, I like him. Big tight end, really good red zone threat, good blocker. Yeah, I like him. All right, so they take Jake Slaughter out of Florida. All right, so yeah, they need that. Shoot, they need that bad. Shoot, they need a couple more Jake Slaughters in this draft. My goodness, that offensive line was horrible, boy. Like I said, y'all know the Friday night banners where the football teams be running through. That's how the Chargers offensive line look. They the paper that the football players run through. I mean, just man, easy work. Food every week. Shoot, food. That dude worked LSU in that bowl game. Yeah, it says, what are we missing about Pregnant? I don't know. I don't know what he missing. I don't know. Maybe it's some arm issues or something, like maybe arm reach. I mean, good size, right? Let me see, man. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something. I mean, smart guy, played a lot of football. I mean, 6'5". What about 314? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. First team All-American, first team All Big Ten, second team All Big Ten, freshman All-American. Right? He started his collegiate career at Wyoming, then USC, and then Oregon. I don't know. He played a lot of football, man. This guy played in a lot of football games. So I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand why he hasn't been taken. Man, this guy played in a lot of games. So I can't really answer that. I mean, maybe the Denver Broncos are drafting him, right? I mean, he's from Denver. I can't believe he's still on the board. I mean, let's take a look at his draft report. I'll read some of the draft profiles. I mean, we know this is not gospel, but let's see. I mean, 6'4", 314, 33-inch arms, 11-inch hands. He had a score of 80. Combine ranking among guard, he's ranked number 1. I mean, broad jump 9. Let's see, vertical leap 35 inches. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. They say his strengths are broad build with excellent lean muscle mass, long arms, and huge hands. And does a nice job of adjusting and fitting blocks on short pulls. Plays with precise hand placement and strong base in the run game. Let's take a look at some of the weaknesses that they say. It says lack ideal initial quickness into the neutral zone. Says need better attention to his secure block on combo. Hand quickness is average for first strike in a run game. Below average change of direction and adjustments in space. Occasionally overstrides in his protection mirror and pushes instead of punching, creating imbalance versus counters. I'll tell you what, everything that they said can be fixable with the right offensive line coach. So I still don't understand like what they're talking about. Like I don't understand how this guy just fell to this guy gonna fall to the third round if Seattle don't draft. I don't understand it. His name isn't Ruiz. That's enough. After the Seahawks pick, the third round starts. That's right, Jerry. And I thank y'all for being here. Really do appreciate y'all hanging out with yours truly. 330 people watching this right now across platforms. I ask that you hit the like button. Please hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. If you want to help this show grow, you want to do your part, please hit the like button. All right. We want to make that a habit. First, as soon as you come through the spot, just hit that like button. Let's see. Can he just not get trucked instantly by average defensive tackles? If so, he better than Ruiz. I don't get it, man. I wish I can tell you. I just don't understand it. Oh man, some of y'all about to get upset. Some of y'all about to get upset. Some of y'all about to get upset. Yeah, that guy's good, man. And the only reason I'm saying this is because my buddy who covers the Seattle Seahawks just text me and said, "Yo, you about to get mad because he knows I like Bud Clark." You like y'all about to get mad? Like, yeah, I like Bud Clark though, man. Yeah, that's the right spot for him. Him and Worry. Oh my goodness, them boys about to play. Them boys about to ball out. Them boys trying to rebuild the Legion of Boom. Let's see, TJ. Why you think Pregnon and Sutton are sliding? I don't know. I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I didn't hear anything. Like I didn't hear anybody say anything negative about Emmanuel Pregnon. And I mean, good kid, good head on his shoulder, man. I actually talked to him like off the record. Like I was walking in convention center. He just so happened to be like walking back from Lucas Oil, and I was just chopping it up with him, man. And I actually, just making small talk. I'm like, "You nervous?" He was like, "Man, little bitch." Like, man, but I've been waiting for the moment my whole life. And I asked him, did he talk to the Saints? He said, yeah, he talked to one of the Saints. Yeah, he said he talked to like like anybody, like the head coach. And he said he talked to somebody from the Saints. And I said, you probably, and I joked around with him. I said, you ain't gonna be out here for long. He started laughing, but yeah, I don't know, man. I can't explain that one. Can't explain that one. I wish I could. I mean, I didn't see anything alarming. Like his tape tells you that he's definitely like a first round, at best second round type talent. So I can't answer that question. Played in a lot of football games. I mean, been All American and top at his position, like in every classification. So I don't understand it. Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. All right, so we going into the third round, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll see. All right, so I don't know. I mean, if you look at the guard position, You know, a lot of people don't really, pick guards like that. But I mean, you think about some of these guys that drafted before him, man. I just don't understand it. But he de- he definitely should be yeah, he definitely should be drafted in the third round. If he don't get drafted in the third round, like somebody that found something on him. Like that wouldn't make sense at all. Like he should be like one of the top players, like taken, like within these next few picks, especially by the Cardinals. Like Cardinals need as much offensive line help as possible. They wouldn't go get Jeremiah Love, but y'all, they need some help. I mean, they already got Persantis, Sage Persantis out of Texas A&M. That's a good start. Maybe need to draft another offensive lineman right here too. Who knows, man? They might get Taylor Green right here. Might be a quarterback. Taylor Green, that guy's talented. I mean, you got Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew as your quarterbacks. TJ, would you be excited for McCoy despite the risk? Dude is crazy. Yeah. I mean, I definitely, no matter what team he goes to, I'm excited for him. I mean, these guys work their whole life for these moments. And when you get opportunity to kind of see how these guys work and you see some of the things behind the scenes that lead up to these points, man, you have no choice but to kind of cheer for these guys. All right, man, these dudes be working hard, man. Like they be working hard. Like you see them like going through the motions and stuff like that. Like you have a tendency of like rooting for anyone. Like it doesn't matter which player. Like it is. Like you see these guys working. You see these guys out here like they kids. Like just like you were a kid, right? They be talking to their parents and stuff, and parents be encouraging them, and like man, it's just it humanizes them. And also, like I said, man, you just find yourself extremely proud of the work these dudes put in. That James Conner. Oh, Carson Beck. So Carson Beck, man. I said quarterback. I thought Taylor Green, but hey, Carson Beck right here. That's so crazy, bro. Y'all remember when Carson Beck? Everybody thought, even me, I was like, man, should Carson Beck be number one overall pick? This man fall all the way to the third round. So you might see some quarterbacks taken, man, in the third round. You still got Drew Aller out there. You got Taylor Green. Still got Garrett Nussmeier. Shoot, Garrett Nussmeier to the Minnesota Vikings. That's prime territory right there. Shoot, that's prime territory. They got back-to-back picks too in the third round. Yeah, so that's a good pickup right there. He might end up starting. Like I said, they got Gardner Minshew and Jacoby Brissett. He got a chance. And he got a chance. Saying not shocked by that pick. Nah, not at all. I mean, he got a chance to be a starter too. Miami, 3 players picked in the first round for the first time since 2007. That's crazy. Man, the U used to be that spot, man. Everybody wanted to go to U. Everybody wanted to wear the U stuff. Everybody wanted to play for the U. Everybody wanted to go to the U. Now look at them, man. My how the mighty have fallen. But they about to get back on it though. Now you can give these players money. Yeah, they about to get back to it, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good draft by Arizona right there. That's a good draft. That's a nice little draft right there they got. That's crazy, man. How many draft picks do the Denver Broncos got? They got one. They got you would think all this moving up and moving down, they'll have more than that. Dang, they ain't got nothing in it. That's the only pick? Yep. Only pick in the third round. Dang, they do all that moving. See what they're gonna do with that. Okay. Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. Put him next to Malcolm Roach. Texas versus Texas A&M right there. Wow, back to the Cardinals. That's a good pick for him. That's a nice spot for him too. TJ, I'm sitting here at work, but I've been listening the whole time. You know, I'm big on my corners, and my boy from Alabama, Damani Jackson, still there. I say we get him or McCoy. Let's go, TJ. Look, I think that they're going to address corner. Rather they're going to be in this round or late on in some of these other rounds. But I just know teams don't just value cornerbacks that they just look at as nickel guys. Now this is prime territory for nickels. For nickel backs, this is prime territory right here. But if the New Orleans Saints get Mike Washington Jr., not mad at that either. Not mad at that either. If you get yourself another running back, if you get Emmanuel Pregnine, I ain't mad at that either. But I don't know if he's gonna last that long. But I've been saying that all day with Matt Millen. Worst GM all time in some people eye. Ryan Crawford, okay. They flying through this round. I think they only give them like 5 minutes in the third round, so you're gonna see some of these picks come out pretty fast. Yeah, if the Saints was to get like Mike Washington or something like that, I wouldn't, I would understand that, but they probably believe in, Devin Neal or something. They might feel like they got their running back room on lock. But if they draft Washington right here, man, it's probably bye farewell to Alvin Kamara. TJ, I'm on break, so I'm typing now. LOL. How do you feel about Harold Perkins? Yeah, I like Harold Perkins, man, but there's a lot of question marks about some of his decision making and football IQ. So that's probably the reason why he dropped it, and not to mention some of them durability issues he had too. And also feel like him not doing anything at the combine, I think that kind of affected him too. LSU lineman getting beat on a bunch of these highlights. Let's see, man. I hope the Saints can get pregnant. I mean, still got a few more picks. All right, 49ers, Commanders, then Bengals. Well, the Bengals need offensive line help. Be getting my boy Joe Shiesty killed every year. Man, my goodness. Beck will be the week 1 start. I agree with that. Like, he has a chance to start. Yeah, he definitely has a chance to start. 5 more picks to see Pregnon. Wouldn't be surprised if we end up going edge, rusher, or corner in the 3rd round. But my thing is, like, can you pass up on Pregnon? Like, can you pass up on it? Like, man, when Mickey Loomis called Cesar Ruiz out by name, like, we know that's not even a Saints MO like that. For him to like mention him by name, like, I feel like that's very telling. So I don't know, man. I think this prime Pregnon territory right here. But I mean, I could, they need so many other things. But you have to wonder. I mean, this guy, it's not like you. Well, like I said, you got to get there. He's got to be available to you. But I mean, you're talking about the best player available, man. I mean, we're talking about the best offensive lineman that is still available as of right now. That's what we're talking about. I mean, and when it comes to Pregnant, his position rank, and he was third. He was third, man. So, you know, like, can you pass up on that? We'll see. If he's still available, yeah. Joe Shiesty out there running for his life. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta fix his offensive line, man. You gotta fix his old line. But yeah, man, you got a few more teams up in here that need some offensive line help. I mean, I think maybe the Commanders may go defense, 49ers may go offense. You know, I mean, Philadelphia, I mean, they need offensive linemen, but you know, I think it's more like tackle. I think they're good on the guard position. Yeah, I think they're good on the guard position. So it's probably not going to be it. They need help on the offensive line, but it's mostly like with their tackles. Guys getting hurt and getting up there in age. I mean, they pretty straight on offense though. Yeah, so Markel Bell, I mean, yeah. I mean, you're getting up there in age when it comes to like offensive linemen. So I mean, they pretty set at guard. I mean, they good at left tackle too, man. You know, but I mean, they starting to get up there in age, so they need to get a little bit younger on that offensive line. So I don't know. I don't know. You know, you still got some teams that need some offensive linemen here. But I'm just wondering, like, man, what did they find on dude? Like for him not to be available right now. That's a nice little draft right there. Yeah, that's a nice draft right there. And then they just got a Greener too. What about Mike Washington, running back from Arkansas? Yeah, I already said. I already mentioned his name. Like I already mentioned him, so you already said it. Like if he available, that would be a good pick too. Like I said, the Chargers just need to come out here and be like, Chargers come out here and be like, offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. Shoot, just get 6 or 7 offensive linemen. All right, so what y'all think? What y'all think the Bears gonna do here? I mean, they got offensive linemen last time. They like they straight. I still don't think they really that straight on defense. Like especially when they come to the line. So I don't know, man. I mean, this is pretty much a toss up here. Oh man, my guy Sam Roush. Oh man, Hey. I mean that was pretty. That was man. That marketing would have been off the chains. Roush at Rouse's. Oh my goodness. But yeah, this dude a fool though, man. He a blocking tight end, but he can catch too, man. He physical. That guy is physical, man. Yeah, they got him for the blocking. Then set up that run game. But yeah, man, he a good all around tight end. I like him. I mean, you already got a Loveland, you know what I'm saying? So you got Loveland out there. Now you got Roush. Oh, my goodness. All right, so you got the 49ers on the clock coming up. So, so you got a few more picks. Got a few more picks, and then it's New Orleans Saints will have their say. But, I mean, good third round so far, man. Like I said, still some really good players coming off the board here. So Roush being a third round pick, that's a good spot for him, and that's a good team for him too, being in Chicago. He seems like that cold weather type guy, even though he played college out in Cali. Okay, Mellow height. Man, they say he's 25 years old. Man, that boy ready. He better be starting. Clock is ticking, my friend. You got to hit the ground. You got to hit the ground running. You got to hit the ground running. You 25 years old. Man, I'm on my knees praying right now. Who you praying for, man? TJ, what you know about my boy? Was it Takaro Davis? Man, I don't. Man, all I know this. Decent football player. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna hear him right now. Decent guy though. I mean, I think I don't know. That's he one of them guys, man. I mean, talented dude, but I don't know. Third round pick, a lot of question marks. Man, you know what? Did they trade Cole Kmet? I don't think so. Did they trade him? I don't think so. No, he's still there. No, he's still there. Possible trade bait. Who knows? I mean, I don't think that would be a good idea. I mean, you still got Loveland out. I mean, you just drafted Loveland. Man, them boys trying to. I think they signed Sam Rouse basically because he's a blocking tight end. TJ, who you got on your mind with this pick? Man, based on this draft right now, I got Pregnine, I got Mike Washington, Keontae Scott, and then Jamon McCoy. Like those are like my four. Like if because I just think, man, I didn't expect Pregnine to be at this spot. I just didn't. I did not expect for him to be at there. So if he's available by the time the Saints pick, that would be he just falls into my number one spot. So Pregnine, Washington, Keontae Scott, and McCoy. Those are my four. Now you may be talking about like one of the best top. Well, I think Vega the top interior lineman in the draft, in my opinion. But you're talking about a guy top two, top three. It's prime real estate right here. But Keontae Scott, that would be a good look for the Saints. And we know that and Kellen Moore was down there in Miami at the pro day. So I mean, we might see Pregnine go to the Bengals, though. I mean, the Bengals need offensive line help. You mad the Raiders took Stooks. Let's see, her Saints were high on him. No. I mean, Stooks, I mean, that's a good pickup, I don't believe the Saints would have drafted him anyway. I don't. McCoy is going to get drafted. He gonna get drafted. No doubt about it. I got to give Mickey credit, bro. This rebuild has been exciting so far. Thank you very much for the 4.99 gospel. Yeah, it has been exciting. I think they're making some really good decisions, and that's all you can really truly ask for, man. That's all you can really ask for is them just to make the right decision. Like I said, I mean, man, looking at this list, best available: McCoy, Pregnon, Branch, Williams. You know, I mean, these are some really good players, man. You got Ternan out there, you know, but that's offensive tackle right there. So yeah, I think Mike Washington is a really good player, man. So see what they're gonna do with this. Man, that's a lot of people out there. Are you surprised that we didn't trade up? No. I like it. I like the fact they're not trading up. Shoot, man, just make the picks from your spot. So they're gonna be in Washington. So they're gonna go to DC next year. Them boys booming. All right, Mark. All right, Mark. That's great. That's first off, that's wonderful news right there. You know that flag football is growing, but I think that you gotta keep this thing going. Mark Griffin was very underrated as a quarterback, though. By the way, I liked Mark Griffin when I was growing up as a kid. Okay, that's a good pick right there. Good stuff. Oh yeah, that's a good pick right there. He's a really good route runner too. He a good route runner. He basically catches everything. Some of those tough catches, but he's not a 50-50 ball guy because I mean he's not the tallest guy in the world, but he's really shifty, man. So they gonna use him in the slot. He gonna make some plays. All right, so you got the Bengals on the clock. Got the Bengals on the clock. I think you might. I think at this point, you need to get offensive line right here, but we'll see. Oh man, come on. I just finished talking about this guy. I don't nah. This guy, we like 6'3", 6'4". Yep. I don't know, man. I would. He's tall, man, but I wasn't really impressed with the tape, man. I wasn't impressed with the tape. I get it. I get it. He got that wingspan. He got that wingspan, that long arms. He tall. Well, I'm telling you, like he got safety written all over him, man. They might like move him to safety. It's like that. It's like that. Is that recovery speed is issue. Like how he just made that play right there. Like how he was able to make that play with that. Say out. Yeah, man. I'm just. You see like how he dragging coverage and like, man, you're not gonna be able to do that in the NFL. You're just not. You're not gonna be able to do that. All right, the Saints on the clock, man. What y'all think they're gonna do? What y'all think they're gonna do? What y'all think they're gonna do? I mean, you got Emmanuel Pregnine right here. But we gonna see. Whoa! Oh man! Oh, they went go get Oscar Del. Wow! Oh man! Oh man! Y'all, hey, his numbers not gonna like tell you like, but you talk about a super athletic tight end. Man, I'm telling you, everybody was like in love with Brock Bowers. He kind of fell under the radar. But I'm telling you, man, this dude is good, man. He is good. I ain't mad at that one. I ain't mad at that. That is a good pick. That dude is gonna make some plays for the Saints. He gonna make some plays. He is going to make some plays for the Saints. Wow, I completely forgot about Oscar. That is a really good pick right there. Whoa. Yeah. That's a good that's a good man. That's a good. I completely forgot about Oscar Delp. I completely forgot about him. And that is a hell of a pick. I like very, very underrated tight end. Like I said, if you look at his numbers, if you look at his numbers, like, man, it ain't impressive. I'm telling you, that guy is, man, they're gonna be able to do some things with him. He's gonna be a much better NFL player than he was a collegiate player. I'm calling that right now. He's gonna be a much better NFL player than he was a collegiate player. Yeah, I actually spoke with him at the combine too. Let me see if I can pull that up. And he was talking about he was actually talking about his experience like talking with the Saints. That was a good move right there though. Man, I'm shocked by that too. Malachi Fields, like he had one of the worst combines I've seen in a hot minute. But that Senior Bowl that he had, man, that's what saved him. That's what saved him. That Senior Bowl. Yeah, but he's gonna be a possession receiver right there, and he's a good compliment to for Malik Neighbors, like a good 50-50 ball type guy. Not the fastest guy in the world. Not the fastest guy in the world, but he can use his hands well. He got some Mike T in him. He got some Michael Thomas in him. Yeah, he got some Mike T in him. But he just had a rough combine. It was rough. Like everybody was high on him at first. Like, man, what he gonna do, man? He gonna do like, Yeah, he had a rough combine. I mean, because he was like the toast of the town, like when coming out of Mobile. Everybody was talking about, how he looked and how he played. After that, it was like, man, after that combine. But I will say this though. And what hurt him was you had a bunch of wide receivers that were running 4.2, 4.3s. You had a bunch of wide receiver running 4.2, 4.3s, and he ran the slowest combine. The slowest 40 at the combine. And that was the thing that hurt him, in my opinion. So linebacker, cornerback, safety, and guard. Yep, good moves on our teams. Ain't no thing though, for real. Yeah, man. I mean, these are some good moves. Good moves. Oscar Delp, I'm not mad at that. I completely forgot about him. But the Saints didn't. That's a good move. I'm saying this right now. He's going to be a much better pro than he was a college player. He kind of got lost in the shuffle. Like I said, he was living in the shadow of Brock Bowers. I mean, but dude gonna end up being a much better professional player than he was in college. Because you look at his stats, you're like, oh man, what they drafted him for? Like, you ain't nothing to hoop and holler about, as they say. But yeah, he's gonna be a much better pro. So I completely forgot about Oscar Delp. Says, I love it though. Juwan Johnson on the clock now. Yeah, I mean, looking like it, right? You got Noah Fant. You got Noah Fant. You got and you just got Oscar Delp too. Yeah, so yeah, your boy Juwan gonna have to do something. You got to make something happen. I mean, I think he's gonna be all right because Tyler Shuck trusts him, so I think he's gonna be all right. But man, they trying to find some targets for for Shuck. They're trying to get Shuck to get these boys. They're trying to get him some playmakers. Yeah, getting him some playmakers. But man, we lost Foster and Jack Stool. I mean, with all due respect. I mean, I don't think any one of those guys are like, just like, oh man, like it just such a earth-shattering loss. It's mostly because of the human beings they are, especially when it comes to Foster Moreau. It's more like the human being that he is, more so than you know any type of production that he putting up. I mean, I don't mean to sound facetious, but I mean it's the truth. It's more so of the human being that he is, more so than like what he actually did. All right, so you're trying to pull up this clip. I apologize, folks. I'm trying to pull up this clip. I had an opportunity to speak with Oscar Delp at the NFL Combine. I'm actually just trying to pull this up so y'all can actually see it too. Hold on. What did he say he apologized for? What did he say? What did Mike Greenberg say? He said he apologized for what now? Somebody tell me what he just said. He said he made an apology for something. I missed it. All right, the Miami Dolphins on the clock. Okay, Caleb Douglas. I cannot believe Emmanuel Pregnon is still on this board, man. I cannot believe it. I wouldn't be objective of the Saints moving back up into the third round and trying to get Pregnon. All right, so let's see. I'm trying to pull up this clip right here. But yeah, I wouldn't be objective if you want to move back into the third round to get Pregnon. Let's see. The fans got after Mickey and he changed his tune. He's knocking the draft out of the park again. Well, I think it has a lot to do with Jeff Ireland too. Like Jeff Ireland knocking it out of the park because Jeff Ireland had the scouting and stuff like that. That's his wheelhouse. Yeah, that is his wheelhouse. All right, so here's Oscar Delp, me talking to him at the NFL Combine this year.
Oscar, can you tell us a little bit about the interview with the New Orleans Saints and how did that go for you?
Yeah, it was great. We talked about life and just who I was as a person, and then we got into football. I feel like I had a really good interview with them. I enjoyed all those guys in there. They were awesome. They've got a great offense, super tight end friendly. New Orleans is a great city, great food. Next time I'm there, I'm getting a win.
All right, so it seemed like he had a really good experience there, the way he was talking. So now it's official, man. Oscar Delp is a New Orleans Saint. So Scarecrow, thank you very much for the $2. Says Chris Bell pull the trigger, Mickey. Well, I think that I don't know. Unless they about to move back in for him. I feel bad for Chris Bell because I know for a fact that he would have been in the top 2 rounds. So we got the Joey Porter, got Junior and Senior on stage. Caleb Douglas looks like Larry Fitzgerald. Does he play like him? Probably not. Whoa. That's huge right there, boy. Hey. That's huge right there. Hey, man. Drew Aller. Hey. I like Drew Aller. Man, it's so, but isn't it crazy though, folks? Isn't it crazy? Like how you had Carson Beck, Drew Aller. These guys were supposed to be like top 10 picks a couple of years ago. Like they were talking about Drew Aller possibly being a number 1 overall pick. Man. It's crazy, man. It's like I bet if you was to put him on a polygraph test, and you ask him, like, do you regret like going back to college that final season? I guarantee you he'll say yeah. I mean, his stock was so high, man. All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers trading they pick with the Green Bay Packers, so they moving. Man, that's a good spot for him though. You think since the Derek Carr stuff blew up in Mickey's face, it humbled him a bit? I mean, I just think the entire process over the last couple of years humbled the entire front office. Like it was like the fan base, the city just challenged them, like to turn it around. And I think they took the city, took the fan base up on that challenge. Yeah, I like that. I like the move with Drew Aller, man. I like that move right there, man. But it's so crazy, man. Drew Aller was ranked like the top quarterback, would have went first overall. And I like look at him, 3rd round pick. Boy, football can humble you. I can tell you that. I see Aller starting mid-season. Said horrible 3rd pick. Who we talking about? We talking about the Steelers or the Saints? They need to get Keontae Scott and Chris Bell. Well, I mean, Keontae Scott. Yeah, I mean, you might see him get taken off of the board soon because, like I said, I mean, he's a nickel corner. Like teams want cornerbacks that are versatile. So that's 2 Georgia Bulldogs taking this draft. Say we done got enough Ohio State Buckeye players that says the front office of the Saints. Now we got to go get some Georgia Bulldogs. It worked for Philly. It worked for Philly. Let's see, man. I mean, it's not out of realm of possibility that if we get like down to the bottom of this draft, like if the Saints try to move back up, maybe use like one of their fourth round picks or something. Like they got two of them. It's not out of realm of possibility. I feel like Mickey gives up one of those fourths. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't even read your stuff. We on the same page. A lot of quarterbacks in this draft would have gone higher if they came out last year. Nuss, Aller, Klubnik, and Beck. Yeah, I mean, but Aller and Beck, they were supposed to be the ones, man. Especially Aller. Like Drew Aller was supposed to be one of them ones. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I don't know, but for the Saints not to address like the secondary like that, they must really trust. They must really trust what they got in that secondary right now. Is Gerard McCoy worthy of grabbing with that knee? And now, if he's available to you in the fourth round, that's something to ponder over. That's something to ponder over. I think that'd probably be worth the risk. If you got 2 fourth-round picks, if you got 2 fourth-round picks, or even if like it's at the bottom of the third and the Saints like trade up to get them, I think it would be worth it. I think it would be worth the investment there. Yeah, I do. Nuts still on the board. I think the Vikings would be a good. Yeah, Vikings got back-to-back picks. I think there's a possibility you might see him. Might see Nuts going, to the Vikings. Let me see a couple more. Let's look at a few of these other teams. I mean the Colts. I mean the Colts. They like I know they got Daniel Jones, but man, I ain't putting all my hope in no faith, no Daniel Jones. The Falcons, no, I don't see that happening. Baltimore, no. Jacksonville, no. Minnesota, actually, Minnesota got 3 third-round picks. So yeah, I mean, you can see that. You possibly see it. Could you see Gary Nussmeier in Carolina? Yeah, that'd be funny. That'd be funny. So Pittsburgh already got their quarterback, so that ain't happening. Chargers got their quarterback, so that ain't happening. Miami got their quarterback, so that ain't happening. Yeah, not gonna happen with the Raiders. Not gonna happen with the Cowboys. Not gonna happen with the Rams. Patriots, no. Seahawks, no. So yeah, Minnesota probably gonna be your best bet right there. Yeah, so they took Oscar Delp. I think that was a good pick. I think that was a really good pick. I forgot all about Oscar Delp. But go and take a look at him, man. I mean, this guy, man, he checks all the boxes. I think I'm gonna call it right now. I think that Oscar Delp gonna be the next fan favorite for the Saints. I really do. Like I think he's gonna be the next fan favorite because they're gonna find ways to utilize him. He's gonna make some plays. I can tell you that right now. Wouldn't mind us getting Sam Heitch as a backup center. I just still can't believe Emmanuel Pregnon is still on this board. I cannot believe this. Like, what happened? Like, did they find something? Like, I mean, this man is just dropping. Like, he is still on the board. Like, that is like mind-boggling to me. He looks super athletic on film, just didn't get the ball much. Yeah. He didn't get the ball a lot. I mean, he was living in a Brock Bowers shadow, man. And then by the time, Brock Bowers left, they was like wasn't running that type of offense where you was like looking for the tight end. But Oscar Delp is like super talented, man. That guy is an athlete. Like he almost like a borderline wide receiver. I like Connor Lew center too. Yeah, Connor Lew out of Auburn. Yeah, I like him as well. Yeah, I like him. All right, so you got Pat McAfee back on stage. Said fresh off the RKO. Yeah, man, Pat McAfee crazy, man. Oh, that's a good pick right there, AJ Halsey. That's a good pick because, like they already mentioned, he played a lot of football, man. That's a good pick right there. TJ, do you think we trade back into the third round? If you see somebody you like, yeah, yes, you do. But like I said, if you start, I see prime real estate because, like I said, Minnesota has three. They got 3 third-round picks, 3. So they might be willing to negotiate with you, like especially like one of those picks, like at the bottom of the third round. If you see somebody that you like if you see somebody that you like, then yeah, but but it has to be somebody that you just in love with. All right, so Zachariah Braves, that's a good. That's a good pick right there, man. Zachariah Branch, that's a talented guy. Ain't but he's small. 5'8", 177 pounds. And that's kick return type size right there. He gonna have to, man. You gonna have to get some muscle, man. You gotta gain at least about 10 more pounds. Maybe get up to like about 185, 190. That is small. Third team all SEC, all purpose. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna put him on special team. Yeah, they're gonna set him up. He's gonna be their gadget guy. Probably gonna be like on some jet sweeps, wide receiver screens. Yeah, but I think he's gonna be mostly in the special. Like they're gonna put him in on special team. Yeah, he's gonna be a special teams guy. Yep. He gonna be their down the field threat. He gonna be their probably special teams guy. Couple Georgia boys in the building. Yeah, got a lot of Georgia Bulldogs. Okay. Oh man, that's a good pick right there. That's the type of wide receiver Lamar Jackson need too. Yeah, that's definitely the type of wide receiver they need. Big target guy. That man be making them catches, boy. Man, watch this. That's crazy. Said Mark the Trader. Thank you very much for $2. Hey, he did play for the Ravens, but I mean he's synonymous with the Saints. I said, man, he ain't the fastest guy in the world, but that's not why they're getting him. He's gonna be a possession guy for them. That dude a fool, man. Just throw that ball up there. Yeah, just throw it up there. Both my USC wide receivers are gone. Yeah, but that's a good spot for him. Baltimore, a good spot for him. They're gonna find a way to utilize him. He said he Ryan your little Tech McMillan. Dude said he not as good. Man, do my boy Lane like that. Lane can make play. Chris Bell fans, are y'all okay asking for a friend? Man, Chris Bell, if he ain't have that injury, he'll still, man, he would have been gone. He would have been gone. I cannot believe Emmanuel Pregnant still ain't been drafted yet. We going into fourth round territory here. I mean, we only got a few more picks left, ladies and gentlemen. See, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. What about 19 more picks? It doesn't seem like it's that long. Dang, that's quite a few picks, but all right. So Albert Regis, defensive tackle out of Texas A&M. Yeah, it's his size. Man, somebody mentioned this boy. Man, LSU boy, they people making highlight takes. LSU getting guys paid in the league on defense, man. I don't think that's a good look. It's like every time I look up, somebody getting worked at LSU. What's going on here? What's going on, LSU? I'm talking about every time I look up, like guy get drafted, they blowing past a LSU offensive lineman or breaking a tackle from LSU defensive lineman. Like, what is going on? Says Mark not a trader. It's all business at the end of the day. Go where the love is shown more. Can't be mad at that. Nah, he's not a trader. He did play for him. I can see if he announcing that he ain't play for him. And I'm pretty sure if the Saints asked him, he would have came up there and did it. Yo Lane isn't bad. He just one of the best wide receivers across from him, and he got hurt. Yeah, he not bad. Yeah, he a good possession receiver, and I think that's what the Ravens are going to use him as. I think that's a good spot for him. All right, so we got the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings are on the board. So we already mentioned this could be Garrett Nussmeier territory right here. Right, Garrett Nussmeier. This would be Garrett Nussmeier territory. They got 3 third-round picks. So, what y'all think? Do y'all think that the Vikings are going to use one of these picks to draft Garrett Nussmeier? Because if not, man, I'm concerned. Like, what team is he going to go to? What team? Like, I don't see nobody else. If Minnesota don't draft him with any of these picks, I can't see him going anywhere else. Maybe like somebody will take a fly on him in the later rounds, but Minnesota. Then you got Carolina, maybe. Maybe Carolina maybe take a chance on him. Tampa, I don't see that happening. I don't see it in Pittsburgh. I don't see it with Los Angeles with the Chargers. I don't see it with the Dolphins. I mean, I don't see it with the Bears. I don't see it with the 49ers. I don't see it with the Raiders. Cowboys might do it. Cowboys might end up doing it. Say Saints practice squad. I think he'll get drafted. Cleveland, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I hope not. I hope not. I hope it ain't Cleveland. That what that man did to deserve that. What did he do to deserve that if he was to get drafted by Cleveland? Please don't do that to that man. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. All right, we're going to take a brief break and then we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. This is the State of the Saints podcast. And right now, I want to thank the fine folks at Lucy for being the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. And look, everybody is trying to find ways to unwind, to relax, to have focus, and to have more energy. Some people like energy shots, energy drinks, coffee, right? Even neuro pills to try to get you to focus a little bit more. Everybody is trying to find ways to be in a zone and in a really good space. Now, this is for all of the pouch connoisseurs out there. This is where Lucy comes in. Lucy is 100% tobacco-free pouches, right? And it is available to you in 12 milligrams and 4 milligrams. And it also comes with a hydration capsule. So it just gives you that instant burst and a really good experience. I have a friend of mine, gave him an opportunity to try Lucy, and he has been raving about it, going absolutely crazy about it, and wondering how can he get his hands on some more. Well, if you want to get your hands on Lucy and you are a pouch connoisseur, all you have to do is go to lucy.co/code. And if you don't want to wait, all you have to do is go to their store locator and you'll be able to find Lucy in your area. Now, Lucy is for adults only of legal age, and every customer is age verified. This product contains nicotine, and nicotine, as we know, is an addictive chemical. All right, so make sure that you use responsibly. But once again, want to thank the fine folks at Lucy for being an official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. And if you are a pouch connoisseur, once again, go to lucy.co/code to get 20% off on Lucy. Thank the fine folks at Lucy being an official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast, Straight Up TJAY Podcast. And this is the live reaction show from day number 2. And we just seen Dominique Orange being taken off the board by the Minnesota Vikings. They have one. That's one of 3 third-round picks. And now we got the Carolina Panthers on the board. So what are Carolina Panthers going to do here? We'll see. All right, so we see Jake Delhomme. Whoa, Chris Pratt. Wow. Okay. All right. Man, them boy got the Twin Towers over. They got Terry McMillan. Now they got Chris Brassel. These boys trying to win them 50-50s over there. Man. And everybody know him, especially when he played at Tulane and went to Tennessee. So good player, man. Say over Chris Bell. Wow. Yeah. I mean, they got two players seem like they got the same similar skill set with Ted McMillan and Brazel, but Brazel just a little faster. I guess they feel like, okay, Bryce Young, about 5'10", just throw the ball up there and just throw the ball high. Man, you gotta be impressed with Carolina though, man. Carolina, they making some moves, man. They trying to get better. They trying to show people that NFC South championship was not a fluke, even though I feel like it was, but but they trying to build on it. I'll tell you that. Did you know Jordan, brother Jalen, who's Cavs player, is a Saints fan? Yeah, he mentioned that. He said that he grew up being a Saints fan. Because they both, I mean, they grew up in Allen, Texas, man. So unless you like the Dallas Cowboys or something, but why would they want to do that to themselves? I'm just joking. But nah, man, look, that was during the time. Like probably gonna hear a lot of like kids like that, around that age say that they grew up Saints fans, because that was during the time when Breed was in his prime. So I'm sure you have a lot of Saints fans that was around there at the time. Rattler could start in Minnesota. I think Kyler Murray, I think he's gonna be a good quarterback for them. I mean, Kevin O'Connell, I mean, this guy has made quarterbacks look great. You know what I'm saying? Every quarterback that he seems to put his hand on, they turn to gold. So TJ, at this point, I'm stressed. I mean, I don't know why, man. This is a good draft. Good draft. Good draft for the Saints. Like you got a couple guys that got wide receivers, but I mean, I'm not tripping, and I wouldn't lose no sleep over it. I think the New Orleans Saints got some talented players that can be able to neutralize what these teams have done so far, if you're a Saints fan. But yeah, I mean, these teams are trying to get better. They know that the NFC South is up for grabs, and these teams are trying to go for it. So still got quite a few picks left in the third round. Next, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Their pick is indeed in. Haven't seen too many trades so far. Haven't seen too many trades. Haven't seen that much moving and shaking. It seems like teams are pretty much staying where they are. And John Cena's voice, you get nothing. Nuss to the Vikings would make sense. McCarthy's future is still in question. Mark and Murray only are there for a year. Yeah. But I don't think that Kyler Murray is just there for a year. I think that, he's on a prove-it deal and he wants to have a big year. And if you have a big year, then, especially like if they make the playoffs, I mean, why wouldn't you want to sign him back? The fact that Kyler Murray is there, I think it pretty much tells you that JJ McCarthy just is awful. Like, you got to be realistic about this. This guy, like, he got hurt his first season, right? He was out for the season. Then he comes back and he looks awful. And now you just give up on him. Like, y'all must didn't see nothing from dude. Y'all ain't see nothing from player. Like, y'all must didn't see nothing from him. All right, so the Buccaneers on the clock. Let's see what they're going to do. Dang, I mean, everybody in the South getting wide receivers now. Atlanta got a wide receiver. Carolina got a wide receiver. Now Tampa, with that rich tradition, continuing to get themselves a wide receiver. Like these guys, man, they love wide receiver. They love them. But yeah, Ted Hurts, man, this guy's talented, man. Talented guy right here. I watched him quite a bit, especially me covering the Sun Belt, at Coastal Carolina, man. So dude is an absolute beast out here. I mean, homeboy was out there working them shots one day, one Saturday. I seen it up close. I'm like, God dog, man. Anybody go guard Hurts? Shoot, anybody go guard him? My goodness. That boy be making some plays, man. That's a good pick, though. All right, so that's a good. Got two defensive players and finally went offense there. So you got the Steelers back on the clock. They picked Drew Allen with the first pick in that third round. What they gonna do here? Right, they know they need to keep pace with us. I just think that they feel like it's wide open. Like I honestly, I don't feel like no team in the South got room to talk about nobody. Like seriously, I think everybody has some room to improve. I think everybody chasing the possibility of winning the South. So this is a golden opportunity. This is the California gold rush right here, man. Shoot, first person to California get the dig for gold. We got Cam Haywood right here. Yeah, it's not as packed out there. People that went home. Okay. There's a run of Georgia players. Let me see how many Georgia players have went so far in this round. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 3. If you call Ted Hurts Georgia State, we'll count that too. So the state of Georgia, shoot, they got some players. That's good concentration right there too. All right, so the Los Angeles Rams trade their pick to the Cleveland Browns. So could this be Garrett Nussmeier? Could this man's career be over before it starts? I'm playing, but I'm not playing. I'm playing, but I'm not playing. I'm playing, but I'm not playing. I hope this ain't Garrett Nussmeier. I hope this ain't Garrett Nussmeier. Please don't do this to this man. This man got a family. All right, so taking a look at the Steelers, really good, solid draft right here. Yep, 3 offensive players and that first defensive player of the night. Please, sister, don't do it to that man. Oh, thank you. Thank goodness. Thank goodness, man. I won't see that, man. Austin, good luck to you, buddy. Good luck. You got a better chance of being something than old Nuts being out there in Cleveland. Okay, man. The Stonewall Ruben Bain. All right, that's impressive. All right, got some athleticism too. Okay, I see you, big man. Okay, good feet too. Oh man. Too many good slot prospects on the board to sit around and wait. Scott, Muhammad, etc. Yeah, I think you're getting into slot territory now. I think you're getting into slot territory. But they got Nadeem Tucker. He's still on the board, man. Nadeem Tucker, Western Michigan. Said maybe next year. Hmm. All right, clear. Mm-mm. My goodness. I'm just happy they didn't draft Garrett Nussmeier. Get a little nervous. Got a little nervous for the man. And sister said, man, we need to speed this up. Everybody trying to get their little cameos in. Get it over with so we can go home. Shoot, these dudes up here want to get that last bit of TV time, want to relish the old days. And said, let's get this. Sister said, let's get through this. Said, let's get through this. Said, we seen enough. Let's speed this process up. Said, it's almost 11 o'clock. We got about 10 more picks in here. Let's get through this. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 more picks. Miami could use Nuss. I mean, they got Malik Willis, man. You ain't gonna pay that man that type of money and try to draft another quarter. I don't know. Maybe. Like maybe. All right, so we got the Jaguars on the clock. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, if you're at the bottom of the draft, if you're at the bottom of the NFL draft, and let's just say like a late third round, and you want to move into, for one of your fourth round picks, okay, fine, whatever, right? Whatever. See, no way, Mickey. Let me see. They go for 40 more picks. He waited for 14 already. His finger twitch. Well, look at that. There's no need for you to jump at there's no need for you to try to move up if you don't feel like it's worth it. If the draft fall in the way that you want to, why do that? They just say, I mean, we don't know what they draft board looking like. TJ, I'm gonna tell you what I've been praying about. Malik Muhammad, McCoy, Deion Burks, and Jalen Kilgore is all still there. Yeah, I mean, you still got some talented guys that's still on the board. But at the end of the day, like I said, if it ain't worth moving up for, don't do it. Don't move up if you don't feel like there's anything worth moving up for, is what I'm saying. Why do that to yourself? So if you feel like a guy that's going to be there, be available to you in the fourth round, and you got 2 fourth round picks, use them. Like, we don't know what the Saints got on their board. Like, we don't. As promised, no trade up or down. I mean, this is the second year in a row. New Orleans Saints been staying put. They ain't been aggressively trying to move up and moving and shaking. They just been picking from the spots they've been at and made some solid picks so far. And Christian Miller, and then you got Oscar Delp in day 2. So like I said, I mean, if we get into the bottom of the third round and you try to move back into the third round, maybe to acquire somebody, give up one of your fourth round picks. Okay. All right. I would have did it to myself, TJ. Nathaniel Tucker may be there for one or fourth pick. Yeah. I mean, if you feel like it's somebody, that's worth you moving up for, then do it. But don't just do it for the simple fact of, just doing it. See, Jaguar draft picks. All right, so let's see what they're gonna do here. Let's see what they're gonna do here. About time, man. Hey, I can't believe they did that to my boy, man. Hey. I cannot believe this man lasted this long in this draft. I just can't. I also can't believe that this man, like the Saints passed up on this guy. Like I would not have believed in the third round that Pregnon would still be there. I just don't. I wouldn't believe it. But hey, man, it is what it is. I'm happy for him, regardless. Guy didn't deserve to be no third round pick number 88. He should have been at best second round. But hey. All right, the Bears on the clock. Let's see what them Bears gonna do. Man, it's crazy. It was to show you they don't value the running back position like they. Okay, Xavier. All right, LSU player. All right. That boy was flying at the combine. Yeah, he was flying at the combine. Yeah, they're gonna use him in a return game. I mean, you can't coach speed. 4.22. Yeah, they're gonna be using him. They're gonna be using him on special team. They're gonna be using him on special team. Let's see. Xavier will probably be a good slot wide receiver. I think they're gonna use him in special teams. I mean, he's not the strongest pass catcher in the world, so he probably start off and try to make a name for himself. All right, let's see what the 49ers are gonna do here. Wow. So Kalen Black went before Mike Washington. Yeah, he a one cut. He's a one cut back. Man. Yeah, he get behind the center and guard. He that's that one cut. I like Mike Washington. I can't believe I can't believe he wasn't the next running back taken. I got a few more picks left, ladies and gentlemen. I think the Raiders are the next team on the clock here. Let's see what they're gonna do with that. Man, these boys take more commercial breaks than WWE. God dog. And we'll be back after these messages in a word from your local station. I got dog, man. Golly. Shoot. WWE, that's who can take some commercials. Somebody said Chris. I said Chris Brown. Chris Bell tomorrow. I mean, I'm talking about, man, just commercial after commercial. Like, my goodness. Black will take pressure off of McCaffrey. I mean, then you get Brian Robinson to do that. I guess it didn't work out. Brian Robinson Jr. And you know the thing about it was, y'all know the Saints were interested in Brian Robinson Jr. before he went to the 49ers. So that would have been a mistake. That would have been an absolute mistake. Let's see. Niners got Black. Xavier will probably be a good slot receiver. I think I already read that. Saints must got someone on the team they like that we don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe Torricelli Simpkins. Maybe they believe in Torricelli. Maybe. You know, maybe they believe in Simpkins. Maybe that's what it is. Y'all ever thought about that? Maybe they believe in old Torricelli? Old Simpkins. Man, you still got Torricelli. They got maybe they believe in Dick Saldiveri or something. Maybe we missing something here, folks. They know something we don't. All right, man. This should be like the last commercial break. I guess they trying to take these commercial breaks in between, you know, to try to get as close to 11 o'clock as they can. But, man. All right, we going down to the wire, folks. We got the Raiders, got the Cowboys, Rams, Dolphins, Patriots, Seahawks, back-to-back picks by the Vikings, Steelers, and then you got the Jags again. All right, so Jags already took Pregnon earlier. They go round off the third round. So let's see what this is. See what the Raiders going to do. Pretty solid draft by the Raiders tonight. Clint Kubiak in his first year as the head coach. Got Matt Miller. Okay, Trey Zoom. All right. They trying to fix that offensive line, trying to be able to protect Fernando Mendoza. Kind of loose still out there, though, speaking of centers. All right, they had him at tackle, too. Okay. All right, Cowboys on the clock now. All right, so these draft boards all over the place. That's why mock drafts by professionals are the real fantasy football. Yeah, I mean, look, all these mock drafts and stuff like that, man, that's just basically just to kind of waste time till you get to this point right here. That's a legend right there, man. Tony Dorsett. And that's Drew Pearson. The original 88. I said you're gonna give Tony Dorsett. Tony Dorsett look like he can't he can't even see it. She bless him, man. Them some legends right there, man. Tony Dorsett was so good back in the day. I mean, of course, I wasn't alive when he was playing, but just to watch, being an NFL historian, man, the dude was the truth. I don't trust too many defensive ends that come out of Michigan, man. I'm sorry. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson, he was good, but I don't trust too many of them, dude. Trust. I low-key wanted Zoom for his versatility. Yeah. But hey. I had them Cowboys. They was pretty busy in the first round. Kind of played, laid back on in day number 2. All right, so Malachi Lawrence. Then you got Caleb Downs. Man, he was right there. Caleb Downs was right there. All right, see what the Rams are going to do here. Maybe look Tavon Austin coming back out there. All right, like I said, if you want to jump back into like the third round right here, this probably be prime real estate. Okay, Keegan Charles. That man moving around. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 more picks. All right, we got Miami up next, followed by the Patriots. Then we got the Seahawks, back-to-back picks by the Vikings, the Steelers, and then finally the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the biggest smile Sean McVay had during the entire draft. Everybody talking about he was upset about Ty Simpson. My goodness, man. He about to take another commercial break. We got to pay some bills. We got to pay some bills. We'll be right back. My goodness, man. Got to take a stretch break. What y'all think about the draft so far, man? Y'all enjoying yourself? Got 342 people still with us tonight. Ask that you hit the like button. Ask that you hit the like button, man. If you're enjoying the content, if you're enjoying the show, if you're enjoying the reaction show, hit that like button, man. Hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Day 2 of the 2026 NFL draft. Man, you wait so long for these moments, right? And then it just go by so fast. Like all these different mock drafts and all this different analysis about players, and all for your player to pick a guard or or outside linebacker that you didn't even expect. But the New Orleans Saints, they drafted Christian Miller and Oscar Delp, former teammates at the University of Georgia, current teammates once again, are going to be with the New Orleans Saints. So the Saints got 2 Georgia Bulldogs making up for the lost time. The Saints did not draft a Georgia Bulldog player since 2015 until tonight. All right, so I think those were 2 really good picks right there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what Oscar Delp can do for the New Orleans Saints. I can tell you that. Says, what up, TJ? How you feel about the draft so far? I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think that the Saints have found some guys that are going to be explosive. I think that Kellen Moore has found 2 offensive weapons that he can build something around. I think I'm more excited to see what Oscar Delp is going to do. I know it may sound crazy, but even Jordan Tyson, because man, the dude was like so athletic, and the way that Georgia played, and credit to him, like, because if he would have went somewhere else, he probably would have been one of the top tight ends in this entire draft. But he wanted to stay at the University of Georgia, despite the fact of not really getting that much action, But I'm just looking forward to seeing how Kellen Moore and the offense is going to utilize Oscar Delp, because I can tell you it's not just going to be on those special teams. I can tell you that now. I can tell you that right now. That guy is dynamic. I think he kind of flew under the radar because Brock Bowers was just so talented and so good. So people had a tendency of feeling like, man, maybe he wasn't as good, but he is. All right, so we got the Miami Dolphins. The pick is indeed in. And we're going to see what this is going to be. All right, let's see what the Miami Dolphins are going to do here. Whoa. And there you have it. Chris Bell off the board. Chris Bell is off the board, ladies and gentlemen. So that dream of him going to the New Orleans Saints going up in smoke, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, he's a guy, if he ain't get injured, probably would be a first round pick, early second round pick. There we go. So Chris Bell off the board, ladies and gentlemen. That dream going up in smoke. What if Dolphins take Chris Bell? Well, it happened. Are they doing the 4th round tonight, TJ? No, the 4th round will take place on tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. 11 a.m. Eastern time. Or is it 11 a.m. Central? Let me check. All right, let me see when it starts. All right, and the New England Patriots pick is in as well. All right, so on tomorrow, the NFL draft will start at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central time. All right, so It's ironic that Chris Bell just got drafted, and then Deion Branch comes out here, who's I think is the wide receiver coach for the Louisville Cardinal, his alma mater. Do you think there will be any trades? I don't know, man. Teams in the back wheeling and dealing. So, I mean, if nobody makes a trade with the Minnesota Vikings, I don't think you're gonna see no more trades tonight. I think people gonna just be like, you know what? There we go. Got the trade alert going right now. All right, so the Seattle Seahawks are trading. Who are they trading with? They trading with the Steelers. Okay, so the Steelers making a trade. I'm actually shocked. I was like, man, we're gonna see Minnesota. I still think Minnesota will be interested in making a trade. So I wonder what the Steelers are going to do here. Said, speak of the devil. Yep. Yeah, I think I was looking at that Minnesota. I mean, them back-to-back trades. I was like, that should be intriguing. But I mean, teams have a tendency of kind of like, making some moves. But I want to see, man. I wonder if Minnesota gonna draft both of these picks. Oh, you said I was speaking of players getting traded for picks. I don't know. Because they'll believe you. He said 6 going on 7. I'm like, because they don't believe you. Nobody believe you, Cal. I'm sorry. Okay. And yeah, you can't go wrong with once again, you can't go wrong with offensive lineman for Iowa. All right, so here we go. The back-to-back picks for Minnesota. So yeah, the mullet, the mullet is coming to town. The mullet. If you see a guy with a mullet on the offensive line, draft him. if you got an offensive lineman rocking a mullet on the offensive line, draft. Just go ahead and draft. That guy going down the field for your team. All right, so here come the back-to-back picks for the Minnesota Vikings. One of these picks going to be Garrett Nussmeier? That's the question. Says at least Chris Bell finally got drafted. Yeah, finally, man. Because you know the reason why he was still out there. It had nothing to do with his ability, his talent, or anything like that. This had everything to do with the fact that he was injured. That boy Mel Kiper had that soap opera hair. Look at him now. And he's redheaded. Like I said, if you got a guy on your offensive line with a mullet, draft him. Be like, he's an interesting guy. Right? He got good pat. He got long arms. He has a mullet. What? Draft him. Can't go wrong with offensive line with a mullet. They're gonna give you. I'm telling you, I ain't never seen an offensive line with a mullet. It wasn't a dog. I'm sorry. I ain't never seen it. Have y'all ever seen it? Say Minnesota probably go defensive tackle again, a wide receiver. He looked just fits the Steelers. Yeah, it does. Yeah, he definitely fits the Steelers. He'll be a fan favorite. I met him at the combine, man. And everybody, he's a very animated guy. He was fun-loving, funny guy. Doesn't really take himself too seriously, obviously. Dunk just going. I swear every draft the Saints do something that has us scratching our heads, like drafting a tight end when you need a corner or a pass rush. Well, look, I don't want to say it's a head scratcher because the dude, like Oscar Delp is good, man. I get it, but that's what happens when you don't really necessarily need, like you say that the Saints need this particular position, but it's not like they just in desperate need of it like that. Like, yeah, you can probably use that, but at the end of the day, they go into the draft, they can draft positions that they want to have. They don't have to like reach. And if a player has a higher grade on your board and you feel like that person can come in, that player can come in and make an impact, then you draft them. Like teams aren't drafting like, okay, all right, we need a cornerback here. So who's the highest? Like they're not doing it. They do it like based on like the numbers, based on their draft order, based on if that player available. Now, when you probably need, like really truly need, you know what I'm saying, a certain player, like you ain't got nothing there, then you'll probably do it. But man, Delp is going to help this receiving. Like he's gonna help the receivers because he's a tight end. But I'm telling you, he's more like a receiving tight end. But he can block. He's a really good blocker. He's a really good route runner. He's a matchup nightmare because he's a larger guy. So man, this gonna help. This gonna help the running game. This gonna help the passing game. This gonna help the red zone. And like I said, he's an athletic tight end, so they'll be able to line him up in all type of different ways. I think that Delp might end up being a fan favorite. I really do. I really believe that. All right, let's see what they're gonna do. Minnesota, they pick is in, so we know they're gonna use at least one of these picks. Okay, good pick right there. Man, that's 6'8", 320, man. Dang, that boy a giant. A mountain. That's a mountain of a man right there. He said a mountain. A mountain of a man. 6'8", 330. All right, so let's see if they're gonna get these back-to-back picks. Let's see if they're gonna pick back-to-back. He said, "Remember Kyle Turley? How can I not? How can I not? Exactly. He was a dog. Everybody remember that famous game when he threw that Jets helmet, that Jets player helmet in the crowd. I think that was on a Sunday night game. All right, so they're going to take both of these picks. Okay. Well, Keontae Scott is still available, ladies and gentlemen. Still available for some of y'all Keontae Scott fans out there. Still available. And the next time the New Orleans Saints pick is going to be in the 4th round. Let me see. The New Orleans Saints, they have picks number 132 and 136. All right, so that's going to be on tomorrow. All right, so the Seattle Seahawks are on the clock right now. See if they give up their pick. They just already traded, and it looks like they made their selection. And then finally, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars will round out round number 3, man. Been a very interesting night. A lot of good players. Heard their name called on the second day. You know, I think everybody's dream is to hear their name called on the first day, but you can always make a name for yourself. Doesn't matter where you're drafted. Just all that matters is if you have opportunity. All right, so Julian Neal, another cornerback off the board. Man, 33 arms. That's crazy. That's crazy arm reach right there. All right, so the Jacksonville Jaguars final pick of night number 2 of the 2026 NFL Draft. All right, you still got Keontae Scott. You still got Jermaine McCoy out there. Like I said, a 4th round pick. So I'm pretty sure you're going to hear McCoy's name. Pretty sure you're going to hear his name sometime on tomorrow. Sometimes it doesn't matter when you were drafted, it's just a matter of where. And, it's be a great opportunity for these guys. All right, so Jalen Husky from Maryland is the final pick of the 3rd round. Final pick of the 3rd round, folks. So there you have it. There you have it. And there you have it. All right. There you have it. That is going to be it for day number 2 of 2026 NFL Draft. Some very interesting selections throughout the evening. The Saints selecting Christian Miller and Oscar Delp. Both guys coming from the University of Georgia. First time the New Orleans Saints have drafted Georgia players since 2015. And both of these guys are going to come in and try to make a name for themselves. We've seen Chris Bell go to the Miami Dolphins. Congratulations to him. Jacoby Lane, the big wide receiver out of USC, going to the Baltimore Ravens. We've seen Sam Roush go to the Chicago Bears. We've seen Caleb Black, the only running back that was picked on day number 2, going to the San Francisco 49ers. A couple of NFC South teams got themselves some wide receivers. Georgia's wide receiver Zachariah Branch goes to the Atlanta Falcons. Then you got Chris Brazzell going to the Carolina Panthers, and Ted Hurst on his way to Tampa. So all the teams loading up at wide receiver. We know the New Orleans Saints drafted Jordan Tyson on night number 1. So it should be interesting. The NFC South is up for grabs, and these teams understand that. And also you see some teams around the National Football League that were able to address some positions of need and try to get themselves a little bit more depth on their offensive line as well as their defensive line. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been another edition of the Straight Up TJ Podcast. Really do appreciate each and every one of your time, and appreciate you for hanging out with me throughout this entire time. And if you want to follow me, you can do so by going on X at TJAY Jones 8. Appreciate everybody that follows me on TikTok at TJAY the host. That's TJAY the host. Really do appreciate you all for liking and sharing some of my videos that I've been putting out on Bleacher Report. Thank y'all for that. Thank you for sticking with your boy. Please hit the like button on your way out. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And until next time, I'll see you down the road.
DJ, yeah. Straight up, let's go. Welcome to Straight Up TJAY. Tap in, sit back, press replay. Been locked in with the Saints on a weekday. Now we talking every sport, every big play. Years on the grind, now we level up the view. From the dome to the world, get a better look at you. No script.